Welcome to our last game of the year. This is our Mystara Wrath of the Immortals session number 125 for the Friday night, or Phase 3, Season 2, Episode 17. I was in the middle of trying to figure out what day they were up to because of the map, which I will get to while people are introducing their characters. At the table today we have Gary.
Hi, I'm playing Anton Chigurh, who is a Traladaran warlock, alienist for those who are interested in that sort of thing, and now has, in addition to the mutations and scars of his history and becoming a warlock, now has an iron band on his left ankle that sheds a sickly black light, just to add to all the other fun and games.
Well, you want to have interesting parts on your character because it does make it a lot more fun. Next up we have is Ross.
Yes, I play the lovable character Yodri, Scourge of the Air, being cast down by the gnomes for stealing their flying ships, which are easily able to be flown if you're intoxicated. Warlock, swashbuckler.
General a good guy.
Yeah. He's got a heart of gold that he doesn't want to sell.
Well, he has gone around and done a lot of good deeds.
Yeah, and also some bad stuff.
Well, everyone does bad stuff now and then. Next up we have is Ariadna.
We actually have Calcrix, the white dragon with the jazz wings. One day I'll learn how to do that with one hand. She's not exactly Iron Death, but she's definitely Iron Coffee. She's accompanied by her tiny,
Mostly terrifying
friend Eep, who is of the Fey Dark and can do terrifyingly horrible things to people that Calcrix wouldn't do, but fortunately she likes Calcrix and wants Calcrix's approval, so she's not ripping any of the party members from their home planes and then extinguishing them entirely.
I think Eve is lazy because it's using you as transport for looking for new food sources.
Look, there's just a part of me is like, I wouldn't say that in front of Eve if I were you.
No.
But it's a theory. It's definitely a theory.
I think she's using you more than you are using her.
Yeah, I definitely say the Queen of Darkness is getting more out of this deal than Calcrix is getting out of this deal.
What, entertainment?
No, service from Calcrix. There's definitely an imbalanced relationship going on there.
Okay, what is the Lady of the Dark is getting out of this?
Well, Calcrix does quite a lot of missions and quests for her.
Okay.
Negotiates and diplomatizes. Calcrix is technically a dragon. She doesn't actually owe any service or patronage to someone like the Queen of Darkness. Just so happens that the Queen of Darkness opposes the Master and Ex-Antiotl, the corrupting god. And that aligns with Calcrix's things right now, but she's very careful not to ask Eep to do too much for her because she knows that the Fey Dark or any Fey relationship is one about obligations. So
okay.
Yeah.
But I would never have described Eep as being lazy.
No,
happily hands out as many cookies as she can.
No, that's cunning. It also can be lazy because she just hands it out and then goes, yes, I've got all this stuff. There's other people to do my bidding. Oh, that's right. We need to get Eep with a cackle.
I was gonna say, the idea of Eep, like, curling her leaves over, like, hands and giving you a little ee type thing, I can't cackle. That's very amusing, but the other side of things is there's a synonym for lazy is efficient.
Well, if you only have to do everything once.
It's a great way to answer that question in interviews. What are your flaws? You say, I'm incredibly lazy. It makes me extremely efficient.
Yeah, I'm incredibly lazy. I only ever want to do something once, so I try to do it right the first time.
Yeah. But we're taking away from the grandest member of our group.
Next online we have is Mark.
That's correct. This is the great and brave Rachel Dugan, dwarf of many talents, and of other talents you don't need to know about.
Yeah. Does this dwarf actually have a beard?
Yes, this dwarf is head.
Yeah, it's just I've been running into a lot of dwarfs that don't have beards.
Really? Where are
This dwarf has dwarfed up, definitely has a beard. If man takes the beard away from all that works not. Okay,
I was going to say, which dwarves
we
are
have
they?
one beard, one dwarfless, beardless dwarf is enough for me, I think so. But no.
Just don't fall in any glue and you'll be fine.
Or lava or fire or something like that.
Or just have an argument with his wife. I think one was, I'm sure he could gag the slices of the beard as well. So,
I'm sure she'll just say she's just trimming it a little bit and probably aiming not to take off your nose.
she might have a quite a little slight.
Well, that's right. You're married to a halfling assassin, aren't you?
That's right.
Is that the one from...
I have a castle with gnomes in it that works for me.
What's the Ponzi place one where we had the fencer and that we saw the fencer and went, yeah, we're not going to do a fight with him because he just scream anybody.
Well, it is he's her brother, I believe.
Yeah.
The older brother. So if she ever gets into any trouble, he shows up.
Yeah. So I thought I knew her somewhere.
Okay, also online today joining us is M.
Hello, I play Zal, your level cleric wizard.
Fail Ranger!
Yeah, close enough.
Best I can do.
Well, we don't have a Josh, so...
Yeah.
I thought I would...
Josh, you all need to scream it at me at once.
thought I'd give Josh an updated picture to represent his winged status.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, but now he's extremely bloodthirsty versus his being prior maniac.
And the GM is asking, is there any particular difference between the two from a result?
Well, one you're burning to death.
Absolutely not.
I said from the result, not for what you do, but the final
But
result.
isn't the final end like a black goop rather than?
Oh, no. The
crisp?
final result is one you're going to... There's a good chance you're going to Valhalla. The other one is... I think that the sun god's areas end up going to be becoming hell because he's gone crazy.
Well, hey, the gods aren't particularly good and aren't particularly evil. They just act based on everything they agreed to get to their power.
I personally find the paladin more likable now that she is not being influenced by the crazy sun god.
Yes.
And that's saying a lot coming from Zal.
Don't worry,
Which puts me at my own dilemma of still having to deal with my mom, who's in my arrow, who wants to see vengeance on said angel of now dead and doing darkness blackness.
I'm sure it will only happen once or twice or three times.
Yeah, or yeah, a lot. Anyway.
Hey, on the bright side, you just have to stab.
So is this based on the soul or based on the being?
It is based on the unflinching vengeance of a spirit who doesn't really care what form the person is in or what spirit they are. It wants vengeance.
Yeah, so basically it's based on the soul. Because he's changed so many times.
He's never actually died, so technically he's got the same body he started with. It's just been upgraded a couple of times.
I'll say.
Yeah. Though technically,
Hey, maybe then
because of the flat check.
I know a way you can fix it. But it involves gnomes. And Josh will not like it. It's also what was going to happen to me, and I was terrified about it.
I'm sure none of us will be excited about that.
Well, it becomes an automaton stuck in a gem.
Won't stop the arrow.
Yeah, the arrow is literally a flat check. And if he doesn't make it, well...
Wherever his soul's contained, if that arrow hits it, it is the same as if it's doesn't care what form it's in.
Okay. So I was just thinking of making multiple phylacteries.
Yes, but whatever place his soul is in at the time, if it hits it, is the thing that gets destroyed. So that's the unfortunate thing about arrows of slaying. They slay the being, not the body.
I was just gonna say, on a real life subject, I took a risk of a whole $4 because I think this is still too big for her, but I did find that in Aldi today. I think it's a bit big for a 3-year-old, but she could always use it as a pen holder.
Or it could be a soup cup.
Well, yeah, soup cup, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I figured for $4, it wasn't a big risk.
I'm sure she will be absolutely ecstatic with that.
Yeah, it is a good buy considering a lot of ceramic mugs go from $20 upwards sometimes.
I know.
In honesty and with only a slight bit of shame, I was looking at the cups in case there was something that I could add to our mug collection that we really don't need to expand any more than it currently is.
So it has been dwindling slowly over time.
Yeah, unfortunately our
You need more mugs? Oh, okay, I'll sort that out. Sorry.
oh, sorry. You just made the call out, didn't you? Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is, unfortunately, what's happened, and this is not the first time, 20-year-old Tom Woods Dragon 1.
That's easily fixed.
Support worker. Yeah, but when you glue them back together.
No. There's a mob that, if you send the images, they make out a new one.
Yeah, they could make a new one. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But it's one of the... I've only got 3 mugs with actual dragons on them. They're
Cool.
actually kind of hard to find.
I think you're going to probably get inundated on mugs now.
Well, if you do that, do a dragon without skulls.
Yeah, I do prefer dragons.
Or
without
spiders.
skulls.
So she'll enjoy anything that has a dragon and no skulls or spiders on it.
No skulls or spiders, okay.
Yeah.
So Dracolich is out of the
What do you want to
question then.
Couple of spiders.
It depends in the case of a Dracolich, because I have seen some really cool artwork of Dracoliches because of Martin's prestigious
Was it
collection.
the Forgotten Realms one, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
it wasn't Forgotten Realms. There were some other settings that did it
Yeah.
better. Forgotten
Yeah, one of
Realms
them-
is the default D&D setting now, but they may move on to Greyhawk in the new stuff.
Yeah, I saw that again.
It's in the DMG to try to be a generic setting. That's what they're trying to use Greyhawk for. Mystara was the original generic setting that was based on real world history, so people could get into D&D by giving them something they can associate with.
So they're actually going to bring in the monsters from the books. Because they'll be scary if they do. That being said, paladins will be running away since you can get rust monsters of the size of cities.
Okay, so in the story so far, you have travelled down to the town or village of Kirk. I believe that's where you got up to.
Yeah, we're at Kirkuk, and we discovered Thyation had gone off with the idol. Of the multiple items we could have gone searching for, we went after an idol down here. There was something else that was going to be nearby as well.
Which was I
9
believe,
gems, was it?
the Ionian gems, with 9 gems and a master ruling gem.
Yeah, located on the
I'm sure
border
there
of
are
the-
other minor gems
located
around
on
as
the
well.
border of the Phaeacian Empire.
Yeah, somehow, and we've got a gem-loving dragon with us too. What possibly can go wrong?
Well, if the master ends up with the master gem and you guys end up with the lesser gems,
We're screwed.
Sorry, did you say? Because I might be getting confused between Tuesday group and this group. That there's more gems.
yep, there are more gems possibly available.
But these aren't one of the gems from the hollow
No,
shard.
different sort of gemstones. There are many magical gemstones.
Yeah.
Because
unfortunately.
gems are great for putting magic in.
They are.
The purer the gem, the better the spells you can put in.
No, it was more the more expensive the gem, the more power you can put into it. So the cheaper ones, which were more brittle, would not actually be as good, and the harder, more solid, which were more expensive, because they were harder to get to, were considered more expensive and could take the rarer enchantments. But to be honest, it shouldn't matter as long as it is crafted by a master jeweler.
So we're looking for a Carnelian idol of a griffin, but I was thinking, Zal, part of the reason we came to Yularum was you've been here before and it was after something else. Do you remember what that was? Are we?
Yeah.
Did you say we're looking for a Carnelian idol?
Yep.
Mm.
Why is this crossing over with Shadowrun?
No, it's different idol.
Yeah, I know, but it feels like the same idol.
I'm sure it's not demonic in any way whatsoever.
Now,
And here's an idol, and there's an idol, and everybody gets an idol.
yeah, I'm like, if this turns into an Oprah show, then it's
So, what, we're going to get a singing idol as well?
The house that has the idol.
I'm sure the singing idol will only sing the 30-second ad songs.
La 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 la. That's just entirely.
I was gonna say that was actually well done.
So, with our characters, you travelled to Kikirk, you'd gone through some of the markets, you'd found out that the Carnelian idol had most likely taken its next victim to its death,
That's right.
and you hadn't found any evidence so far as to the Ionian gems. But hey,
That's
an artifact is an artifact.
That's what
We-
that
Yeah, we were
amulet
looking
does.
for
And we also
Ionian
knew
gems.
what direction the Phaeacian who took the idol head.
Which amulet were you looking at, Ross?
Oh, the amulet of roses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of your stuff should be detailed now.
You go, we just couldn't remember that one. Go, oh yeah, that's the one that makes me immune for smelling cloud killers.
Because you always smell like roses.
That's not a bad thing. It's better than smelling like something else.
I'm sure there was a goat in Wednesday night's storyline that could have done with that amulet. I'm sure there's some flashbacks happening from Mark right now. Luckily he's on mute, so we didn't have to worry about it.
That was the water jug.
Okay, so
And we're with an expedition too.
and the last thing we had before we finished last session was that Calcrix wished to haggle for the silk robe of water,
Yes, that's right.
which I left a note in my stuff for making sure I've gotten the days right, because this is the day before the full moon.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're gonna haggle that, and then we're gonna head out into the desert following this rumor of this person
taking
taking an idol that was just bought in the town recently.
an
Yeah,
idol
that's
that
right,
an idol that
skeleton.
kills the person who carries it.
Is this summer by chance?
We're in the desert.
It is summer, yes.
Oh, cool. Because I've got water charm, which actually recharges even better when it's in the summer season.
I may have actually, that's supposed to be winter because I was cut and pasting in that one. Each one is related to its element.
Okay.
So there was a cut and paste failure on that one, definitely. So that should say winter.
Oh well.
But it does mean
So it won't be red half moons then.
No.
Was it
blue half moons.
Yeah.
All relating to the element.
Still, I can cast Sleet Storm, which I have no idea how much damage that does.
Have a look. I think it actually
Castle.
does things like makes the you can't see, obscures and that sort of thing. I think difficult terrain, maybe that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I can actually cast healing spells from it, which is cool. Didn't realise that.
And unless it's attuned, it is a cast destroy.
Yeah, a sleet storm. You conjure a storm of freezing rain and sleet in the area. The ground in the area is covered with slick ice that makes it difficult terrain. Exposed flames in the area are doused, and the area is heavily obscured.
Just that water magic doesn't work in Yalarum.
Oh, okay. When a creature enters the area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must make a dex saving throw or fall prone. When a creature concentrating on a spell starts a turn in the area or first enters the area, it makes a concentration roll, loses concentration.
The only water magic that works in Yalarum are the decanters of endless water.
Okay.
Oh, that sucks.
Because they are portable gates to the plane of water.
Do I have any water magic? I don't think I do.
Well, it does throw out clerics who are so used to creating their own water every day
Yeah.
that they don't carry it with them. They come into this desert and suddenly they have no water.
So I wouldn't go anywhere
Does it
without
work the other way?
decanter.
I'm thinking of what happened when we're in the Feydark. The things that are closely associated with the fire or desert or something are more powerful.
They are, but they're also hated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mine's basically
Because the region was cursed by the sun god.
Oh, okay. So fire and water spells. Yeah, okay.
So
Your arm people hate fire magic.
They
Is
do.
that right?
That is correct. And they also hate wizards and strong female characters that aren't paladins.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of things they hate, but I don't fit into any of those categories, so that's nice.
that's really sucks on my behalf. Why the hell did we go in the first place?
Because you're trying to dig up something useful.
Yeah, in something where I actually lose all, basically most of my magical items.
Well, it doesn't stop them. It just means that they can't produce water.
Well, how would it affect? Like, I don't know if he's got the spell, but like cone of cold. is that a cold spell?
It won't
Water-
create the ice.
Won't create the ice.
So
So,
create steam instead.
It won't create any water
It won't-
at all.
but does it
So it's just
reduce
the-
the temperature to make inflict damage?
It would do the equivalent of the wind movement, but nothing else.
Okay.
So if you do a rainstorm, the rain wouldn't come
Okay. Well, I don't have any of these spells, so
because
it
they
doesn't
can't
affect
make
me.
it rain in the region.
Simple.
If you could do for coffee, would Earl Grey or Arctic Fire appeal to you?
Either. That sounds good.
The Earl Grey is really nice. It's very
Okay.
fragrant. So
Okay. All right.
do
I'll
that.
have to go then.
Peppermint for you?
Yes, please.
Yeah. awesome.
Okay, I did not realise that.
What's that?
My amulet, which doesn't really work very well here, but just looking at what the face it does.
Most of my spells are darkness associated. I presume they're just not.
Oh.
They work fine
They
here.
work fine. Okay.
Okay, it's the item, not the wearer. It's not affected by cold or energy attacks dealing cold damage. Correct?
Yep.
So, as we can't go out and search for the skeleton until Calcrix does her haggling, so I thought I'd put some Christmas trees in because it suits the
Well, they did make sure the
theme
lights were
of
on
this
for
time
you.
of year. Yeah, all the lights are on, which makes me happy. The problem is my hands suck. Ha! I got one in.
One's good.
Yeah. Well, they do that asymmetrical thing a lot these days, don't they?
I know, it is
So,
very much the thing.
Yeah. Did we want to do that before
Okay.
I make tea and
So
coffee
yes,
and chocolates?
I believe Zal had found the silk robes that were way too expensive
That's
and
correct.
had decided he didn't want them.
Yep. And
But Calcrix had overheard and wanted them.
yeah, I believe Zal did tell Calcrix about it, and also mentioned to Calcrix that she felt that it was overpriced. But you said that they have the ability to keep people cool, amongst some other things.
Question about ethics and law in this part of the world. Is using magic to sort of affect a bargain like this considered to be bad sportsmanship? Or is it just the nature of the world and, you know, it's just a risk you take?
If you do it in front of a paladin, it's bad. If you get caught, it's bad. If you don't get caught, well, it's the fault of the person not catching.
I can help you bring the price down.
Yeah, well, you see, funnily enough, I've made notes on Zal distinguishing 15 different axe beaks. You know, I've written down new star charts, updating the star charts in Yalarum. I've got figurines, gemstones, lock boxes, coffee contacts. I didn't write anything down about the robe.
It was at the very end of the session, though.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm hoping.
And she hasn't had time to rewatch part of it.
Yeah, normally I watch the session, but I haven't watched either sessions.
That's fine.
Okay,
let's
so
see.
Round does.
So yep, I'm ready to.
okay, so yes,
Negotiate?
he's more than happy to have a fresh eye come in. He looks you up and down and says, "Oh well, we've got this robe starting at 1,000 gold.
Tell me more about this robe and why it's starting at 1,000
it's more of
gold.
an element.
It is soft and silky. I'm sure it will go perfectly with your scales, to accent you beautifully with your eyes."
Wander over as like a curious bystander.
Well, I can appreciate soft and silky fabrics. As a dragon, I collect a wide range of things, and I've got plenty of soft and silky fabrics.
In which case, I do have some gemstones that may interest you.
No, this robe, is it just a soft and silky fabric, or is there more to it?
Of course, there's always more to it. It's fashionable.
May I examine this robe?
Puts the robe down for you to examine.
Do I perceive anything special about the robe? Cooling abilities, that kind of thing?
It is cool to the touch.
But I don't perceive anything magical about it.
Not
no.
without any magic active to check.
How big
I
is it?
can do an arcana check if that's what's needed.
You'd normally have a detect magic or
A
a
detect
true
magic?
sight.
I have
Do so.
I have both of those. I have my little ointment pot, which I can say I'm just gonna touch up my sunscreen, and
And
put a
you
bit
also
of
have
ointment
your
on.
crystal ball, which doesn't use any material component.
I kind of don't want to pull out a fleshy eyeball in front of the merchant, so I'm just gonna touch up my sunscreen, and use my true sight ointment. And if you're saddled up at curiosity, I'll offer my little saffron. It's kind of like a makeup pot that you
good.
just put a little bit on, just in case you're
Ju-
curious
just-
to see.
For once, I
Just
will let you do
remember,
that.
You
because
will see all magic in the area for the next hour.
Okay. I'm curious. I will do it.
You don't need much. It's only 25 gold pieces. So.
Okay.
Okay, so activating it, you do see that the robe itself shimmers in
that's right.
your vision.
That's my curse.
How big is it?
The robe does appear to be magical.
Oh, I see.
Seems to be woven with strands of water.
Wow. Okay.
When you're saying a robe, are we talking about something that was big enough to cover Calcrix, or is it just been like
A lot of
like
the
a-
magical
like a
robes
shawl
will
or something?
resize to fit
I
whatever
was
you
gonna
want.
say,
it
I
resizes, okay.
I
So what
expected
happens
it all.
if you wear a robe over magical armour?
Most of the time they don't fit.
So
Unless you're wearing armor that is light. Light is the only armor you can wear on the clothes.
and
I think my little armour is classed as light.
I presume it feels cool,
It
and
feels cool and soft to the touch.
Calcrix will try it on.
Okay, it seems to settle all over you.
And how does it feel?
It almost feels like you're wearing nothing. But then again, you don't really feel much on your scales.
That's true. But still, I will gently take it off and make sure that I don't
That's
harm
if
the
she can
robe.
take it off. It's a
Can
cursed
I-
item.
Can I perceive anything else about it?
Okay, so it does seem to make whoever's wearing it feel cooler.
Okay, that seems like a handy thing out in the desert. Particularly since I have a number of non-dragony type people who might suffer from heat exhaustion. I will... And what was the lowest he would go for Zal, that Zal told me about? Did you happen to note, Zal?
No, I did not. But I think he got it down to like
700.
let's see the 700. Yeah, 700. Let's say 650 or 700. So.
So, Calcrix will give the merchant a little bit of a wink and say, I can appreciate that negotiating on price is somewhat of a tradition in this
And
area.
You do notice that the salesman does not appear to be human.
What does he appear
He
to be?
has a human illusion over the top of him.
Ah.
Oh, that's useful, being able to do that in true sight.
What, do I see what's underneath?
He's got some strange all black eyes with elongated features, spiky bits off various parts of his skin.
Check his hands.
Does this remind me of anything that I've come across or any writings I've come across about peoples of Yalarum at all?
It doesn't resemble any of the people
Look at
you
something from the Fade
Check
Art.
his hands to see if they're like that.
What do you mean?
He's trying to say, is it a Raksasha?
Oh, I see. I have come across Raksasha before. Do I
Yeah.
recognise this to be
This is
a
not a
Raksasha?
Raksasha.
Okay. And
Most
'cause have they got
Raksashas are
2 left
animalistic.
hands?
This guy doesn't look animalistic.
Well, I don't know. All I heard was elongated, spiky bits, and that. It could be anything.
It sounded Fade Art to me.
I was going to say, does Eep respond at all or react?
Eep doesn't really seem to notice.
Okay, well, I presume if it was something that I should be warned about, Eep would probably give me some sort of warning.
Unless it was something he didn't understand.
Unless it was something she didn't understand, which is fair enough. Conversationally, I'll say, so what parts do you come from?
Oh, he says he comes from all over.
Oh, you sound much like a friend of mine, you know. I've travelled widely along this realm and many others. Perhaps I have heard of some of the places you've been.
Quite possibly, he says.
Where did you obtain this robe from?
Good question.
Well, there was this person he met who weaves really interesting stuff out of the world around them. And he made a fair trade with them, and they really liked his trade and gave him this amongst other items as part of the trade agreement. As he goes from place to place, making trades to better his life.
I find I can get more invested in an item depending on its provenance. That usually includes details of the location or the types of people that have created an item. Do you have any of that information about this road?
Well, this item was created by a fair maiden of, I'd like to say maybe about 200 years of age, who spent over 50 years weaving this item from the elements around where she grew up, investing it with her hopes and dreams of what may happen in the future.
Player thinks this is true, but Calcrix, just for the sake of things, wants to... the polite term is insight. The impolite term is cast BS detection.
Can Rachel lose the hates all single merchants that try to sell things to him now after the angry crossbow? Can I do that? Just exciting.
Bradshaw can, but I think Bradshaw wasn't following the dragon around close.
Oh,
Well, he can be there.
He can be if you'd like Bradshaw to be.
There's no reason why you can't
I just
be there.
thought I would ask if he was following the dragon around.
Look,
Yeah, I'm interested in the dragons.
we've all
Okay.
wandered into the tent by now, I'm
Okay,
sure.
so that would be an insight roll.
Insult roll.
Can I also roll on that one as well?
You can,
I was
yeah.
going to say, I need to test Ross's new dice out. So,
Don't worry, I've rolled the 20s for you.
I was going to see, I'm going to pull out the goddess one. If I
I
can
got a
find
21
it.
on the dice now.
Well, it's
I 21 times, sorry. Yeah.
it's the like it's no it's
Oh, it's this one here.
Yes.
Cool, awesome. Right, can I use your tray, please? Ooh, not so good.
no, you didn't roll 7. This I just had it hit.
I'm going to roll
7.
with advantage using up one of my fortunate feats.
Okay.
And I'm going to try one of these other d20s because that was a 4. Better 12. I'll just grab my sheet.
Oh,
He's trying to get me.
oh, it's wisdom based, isn't it?
I know it's here.
That was just more of the Lego boxes falling over. I hadn't made it into the recycling yet. So I opened one each day this week.
To be fair, I think my filing system is giving
11.
everything.
Okay, I got a
else around
15.
Mm-hmm.
21
So,
Okay.
Insight.
Well, so far, everyone thinks he's on the level.
is this
I got
based
30.
off?
You don't think he's on the level.
I didn't think he was on the left.
So 12 plus. That's 23.
Calcrix is-
Oh, wait a minute. 23.
Zal got
plus
16.
A D4.
No, I didn't roll, but from I was talking.
So 27. Sorry, what?
They were.
Okay.
Did you hear everything?
Well, if both of you were talking at the same time, I think
Yep.
I got the gist of what both of you were saying.
Okay, cool.
Just as hard to hear people when they're both talking.
Yeah, that's why I was going to be quiet while Emmy repeated herself.
Oh, sorry. I think I did warn you that if you wasn't being entirely truthful about the manner in which they were made or obtained and how much they're actually worth.
Yeah. So that leaves
On
me
a
with
27,
27.
Both you and Anton believe there is some fabrication in there, not sure how much.
Okay. I'm trying to think of another probing question I can ask.
My good man, like it's a beautiful robe, but I just think there's something you're not telling us about this.
Lots of
And
things
you
he
really
says.
and you really wouldn't want to anger a dragon.
Well, he says it wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, well, really? You've angered dragons before?
Sorry.
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
Yeah, he's probably got like another 20 of them out the back.
I would like
It
to.
had been mentioned last session. He has a couple more out the back.
Couple.
Yeah. First thing, I would like to act on behalf of Eep, and at this point say that Eep kind of turns and takes a little bit of interest now because Calcrix is showing interest in it, and Eep's always a little bit interested in what Calcrix is interested in, and she makes a little Eep sound.
Okay, with Eep having a look. Okay, Eep starts to hide.
Oh, okay. So the guy might be scary. I'm like, so say I did like this robe, but because of its cooling qualities, I was interested in maybe trying to get hold of more than one. Would you be able to source another?
I can source as many as you need, as I know the supplier.
I see. This maiden who spends 50 years making this robe but is only 200 years old and puts all of her dreams in it, and I'll make absolute steady eye contact with him now to say, you're more likely to make a sale if perhaps maybe you're a little bit more honest with me, and you might make a better deal too. How many of these robes has she been able to make?
Well, she spent 50 years making robes, so she's made more than one robe in that 50 years.
I see. How many robes has she made? I do have
Not quite sure at the numbers, but she does enjoy making them and has got better at making them as the years have gone by.
I see. And would this be an early work or
More of a later work.
I see.
Most of her early work goes for a lot more because she had more herb at that point.
I see. Would I be able to compare this later work to an earlier work if you perchance to have one?
Doesn't stock any of her early work because, they don't quite travel as far as the later work. Not as well made. More herb but less durability.
I might be inclined to pay a bit more for an earlier work.
You might, but he can't guarantee he can get it here.
Okay, alright. So how many robes would you be able to supply at this time?
He can probably, he's sort of talking himself as he's going, I can probably get maybe 50 if that's what you're after.
50? Oh, that's quite a lot of work that she's put in. But my group is not quite that large.
Well, it would give you the best army in the desert.
The best army in the desert?
It would, because most of them can't really fight during the day for that long before they pass out.
Oh, I see.
Especially wearing metal armors and such.
Yeah, I feel...
Whereas this will wrap around the metal armor and keep you cool, or underneath it keep you cool.
Yeah, I prefer to wear it underneath, chafing.
Some people like to do it over the top because it can
Speaking of chafing,
provide other benefits.
Well, the other thing is you're not being reflective.
There is that too. Better to reflect later than during.
Reflect over one's actions, not physically.
Yeah. In quantities of more than one, would there be a greater discount to be
That
had?
all depends on what you're willing to trade. He only sells multiple with a trade to his liking.
I see. Calcrix goes to get her list of
There we go. Wonderful.
Didn't need that knee, but luckily I have a spare.
Here I was thinking there could be some haggling had. In the spirit of Yelarum haggling.
He does seem to be wanting to haggle, which means less about the money, more about what you're trading with.
I see. Okay. I'm actually going to... See, I was looking at my draconic diorama, which I know isn't worth much in money, but has been worth a great deal of entertainment to Calcrix and Eep. So I'm pretty sure if I pull that out, Eep will kind of look at me and go, "You can't trade that. That's kind of like giving up the only TV in the room." So
Sets a light on.
she's never used it. She's gonna start off with, I don't know what the value is here, but it says a lot because Calcrix loves gems. She's going to take off her dragon head shaped ring with a sapphire on it, so dark it appears black. It's a magic missile brooch. No, not a ring, a brooch. And she says, "I acquired this while studying in the Worm's Teeth Mountains. You won't be able to get one of these outside of the Worm's Teeth Mountains. But it would certainly put you in good stead with any dragon you needed to trade with. Because they would know that only another dragon would have given it to you."
Okay, I'm just going to look up the item.
It's called Magic Missile Brooch. If it helps.
What was the item ID?
I don't have any item IDs on this list. I've just got the full description. So it's just there on the list. That's what came out of my journal.
Okay, which means you probably, it will be a brooch of shielding that can stop magic missiles, not one that can create it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is one
That's
of
not
which
as
is
good as I
your
thought it would be.
shiny scale.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're gonna
shiny
rip your scale off.
shielding.
No, I won't be taking off mine. I thought this was a separate brooch because of the way that it was sitting in my thing.
That's because you
You've embedded your gems.
you had embedded most of your stuff.
Can I use a story point to invent a brooch that just is dragon shaped that I got from the Worm's Teeth Mountains but has no magical ability but does have the trading value?
You could, yes.
Because it's a really good story. And I believed it up until just 2 seconds ago when you said that that's one of my shiny scales. And that's the scale of shielding, did you say?
Yes.
So does Bradshaw have a thing against alcohol?
Is it
Bradshaw
R4?
likes
Yeah, it's
alcohol.
fine. How do you... Yeah, no, it's
Oh, okay.
E.
He's just suspicious of it if it's in a potion bottle.
Okay, alright. So...
Okay, so I'll make alcoholic potions for when I do this with this cup.
Having spent the story point, no magical abilities, comes from the Wormteeth Mountains, and considering he's a merchant and trader, it will give him an advantage if he needs to deal with dragons.
Okay, and he is happy to, say, throw in 2 cloaks for that dragon brooch.
It's not too bad.
And a rousing tale of the Worm's Teeth Mountains.
That sounds also really good.
From you.
From me,
Yeah.
yes, I can do that. Of course, after the business is over and we can...
Well, that is part of the business.
Get to... Well, I'd like to spend a bit of time, elaborating on this, and I feel that it is one of the pleasures of concluding.
Well, part of his bargaining is the story involved.
Okay, I was learning some of my jewel crafting abilities because I am indeed an expert in gemcraft and jewelcraft. But however, I was quite young at this stage. I'm only 12 right now, so there's a bit of BS going on here too. because I'm fairly sure you can't tell how old I exactly am.
Well, you look like a dragon of about 150.
Yeah, that works. So quite young. He might think I was 50. Who knows? I was probably 6. And while I was trying to create this, I had developed, because of some of my travels, a love of coffee. And so I had this wonderful idea that you could perhaps maybe combine and make a magical jewel that would create coffee whenever you asked for it. The problem is that I didn't determine the temperature of the coffee that might come out of the jewel. So there we are, all 6 of us standing around the great Grandmaster Jeweler, and I'm presenting my assignment for assessment by both my peers and this very heralded, prestigious crafter amongst our kind. And out from this gem comes coffee that is well above 2 times as hot as what you would normally ingest it as, even if you were a dragon. And of course it went right into the face of my teacher, which was funny after the fact, but laughing during, not advisable if you want to pass the test. I don't know, does he get a chuckle out of that?
He does get a chuckle out of
This
that.
reminds me of Nick Fury saying, "How do you think I got these scars?"
yeah, kind of. Except snot with a cat. Not a cat, what are they called?
A space cat.
Flesh, starts with S. There's something. No.
Yeah, the overpowered cat from beyond. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cat with a dimensional stomach.
Yeah, someone can Google it, I'm sure. So does that qualify as a part of that part of the bargain?
So
will qualify
you
as that part of the
invented
bargain.
a gem of endless
Scorching water.
Scorching, yes. So
well,
it,
basically decanters of endless scorching water.
I let's just put it this way. I'm still working on that gem to this day. It's still not quite doing what I would like it to do.
And that's the gem that you're trading?
No, that's he's just getting a beautifully sculpted dragon.
I know what the problem
brooch.
was. You needed a master coffee maker.
Well, you see,
which is your gnome.
Grindelwaffle unfortunately has not been with me for a little while.
Yep.
Can I do something while this is all happening? Can I just give you all the computer this is all going on?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
just-
Yep.
Cool. I just want to make sure that I just can. Brent's just looking at you going, what dribble are you talking about in some sort of way? But yeah.
She's a coffee pusher. So far,
Yeah, but
she's
I
been
don't
pushing
know too
her.
much about that yet. Just yet, so that's why I'm
No, I'm
still
just
going.
explaining.
Huh?
She pushes her coffee products all around the
Oh,
world.
I haven't quite got there yet. Wait 2 seconds. So how many people do I need to cloak at the moment? I got 1, 2,
I already have a cloak. But
3, 4.
There's a different sort of cloak, of course.
So I need at least 4 cloaks plus 1 for me? Or
Not
do
everyone wants it. Not everyone would need a cloak.
No, okay,
No,
so how many people
I'll-
need a cloak to last in the desert?
Well, you've got a Yodri going. He really wants one.
So, Yodri, I was thinking of
I'm
getting...
going ahead with the curse. I'm not bothering rolling at the moment.
I think I really need to get you one. A, you don't have to put a helmet on for this, and B, you're probably going to swelter and pass out in the sun. So
And
this
C,
stops.
you're going to look cool. And you'll be cool as
I've got a
well.
parasol. I'm fine.
Yeah, but this means
Parasol.
that...
And this parasol works better than the last one you got.
And I was
Yeah,
going to
but
say, this means that no matter how defective
Is
your
that the parasol that
is,
casts
you can...
constant darkness?
No, he got the parasol that was used in stage plays and fell apart in the sun.
Yeah, and then we got him a slightly better parasol, but I'm more thinking about fatigue. We've got to go hike out into the desert to get the skeleton, so that's 2.
Skeleton?
Did you say Bradshaw
The
doesn't
dead have been
need
walking.
a cloak? Does that mean you've got the
Rachel's got a
stamina?
cloak.
No, but do you have the
Reckon-
stamina not to pass out from fatigue in the middle of
I've
the
got
Laram
a
Desert?
+7 to my con, so I think I'm
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, alright,
I've got a
so...
+8 for my cons. I'm not really worried about that.
Okay, so is that
I'm
what
sure
they're
Bradshaw
talking
believes
about?
he's hot stuff, so he'll be fine.
So is that what they need, is high con?
To the DM, that's what I said, yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
So, the characters will believe that they're fine, whether they are or not, they do not know.
Okay, so Calcrix, who's is kind of twice experienced as everyone here because she's in 2 parties at the moment and she's been
You have been in the desert before, and
twice.
traveling at night is fine for most people as long as you can rug up.
Hmm.
It's traveling during the day that's the difficult part.
And we might have to do that to find the skeleton, amongst other things.
The other
So-
issue that we will have, actually, I probably won't because I've got my rose-coloured glasses on, which also acts like sunglasses, is that the fact that they're going to become blinded because of the glare.
The glare, yep. So we need to at least 4, and if they don't wear them, I've got 2 extra plus. I want 1, so 5. So I've negotiated for 2. So,
I'm happy to travel at night.
Actually, how long does the darkness spell last?
10 minutes, I just checked.
Oh, bugger. So
So
you can't
the-
cast darkness all the time on your
Yeah.
bloody
Well,
parasol.
all darkness does is provide an area where there's no light. It doesn't stop radiant heat.
Well, that's radiant heat coming from the ground.
so
And the
Sorry.
light from the radiation from the sun above.
Well, that's
So you-
ultraviolet.
no,
That's
it's
ultraviolet.
No, I think it was more of protect from being blinded.
But it will protect you from.
the next thing that I'm going to
Yeah, so
offer
you need to
up,
get a parasol of darkness.
kind of in a very what's the word? Predictable way, is I'm going to produce some coffee.
Mm-hmm.
This is chocolate coffee though. I acquired this from I know that we don't know, like I have an inkling, so I got it from Red Dren. I've managed to so when he gave it to me, God knows how many years ago, it went back to the plantation, got replicated, and I've got more, not heaps, but more. And it hasn't actually made it into the franchise yet, because I think you said it's going to take me about 5 years before I've got that kind of amount, but this was ages ago. And I think it's only been 3 years. I have to check my journal, so I can confirm that with you later. But anyway, I'm going to say I can present you a coffee that not many people will have, but from which you can germinate more chocolate flavoured coffee given the right inclination or duplication spell.
He pulls out an intricate coffee set
Okay.
and puts it on the table to and gestures for you to
So-
prepare it.
Calcrix does the whole, as if, fixing the mustache type thing. It's just like,
And with your
Crack
true
the
sight writing,
knuckles.
you notice that the set does have magic on it.
what kind of magic?
You're not sure.
Barista magic.
But you believe that the items may resize to suit the client.
Does it resize to suit me?
Well, you pick it up, the item comes to be a serving size for you.
Nice. I will put all of my expertise and concentration into making the best ass chocolate coffee
So that will
I've
be
ever
a
brewed.
profession check for you,
But
using your coffee making
my
tool.
coffee making tool. I was gonna look for the dice that often doesn't, that I can rely on under any circumstance.
The dial dice.
Yeah.
It should be either. You've
here
moved
it
it,
is.
yeah. I knew it was nearby somewhere.
And what's my coffee? That comes
Should be at least a
under
plus.
coffee craft,
Should be about
proficiency.
Plus 4 proficiency, plus whatever attribute.
And what does it come under? I usually do it under. Does it come under charisma or wisdom?
Intelligence, maybe?
Well, are you going to make a show of it?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Then
definitely make a
charisma
show of
will
it. I'm gonna make sure that's the D20 side because the D12 just. Oh crap!
D12 will make it a lot lower.
Yeah, you won't get quite as good, probably.
I'll bet you I'm not gonna get a natural 20 like I did first game. 18.
18's still pretty
That's
good.
roll.
It is pretty good. I got a 20 first roll on Tuesday game.
The only roll on Tuesday.
And the only roll on Tuesday game. So 18 plus 11 equals 29.
Okay, so you make a fabulous coffee, and you're hearing groans of people around you as they're realizing, well, they're not going to be able to participate in it because, hey, you're doing it as part of a sale.
Yeah. Well, look, I can brew coffee for everyone else later, except for Zal because she's on here. And she's a fellow coffee lover, so she gets to virtually experience this coffee as if she was experiencing it in the real world.
And so yes,
So I can dream and use my imagination.
Just mindfulness, visualize this really, really well.
okay, it seems that the flavour has come out better in this set than it normally does.
I'm going to have to lose more gear by trying to trade for a set like this.
And he happily throws in another 2 of the robes to go with the coffee and a set of those beans.
Yep. So I will measure him out a generous size of the beans because the 2 robes is really good. I've got 1 more. Definitely not going to trade him 4 tomes on the
If someone's got fire
shard
resistance, they'll
of
probably
the hollow crown.
If somebody's got fire resistance, they probably won't need a robe.
Yeah, well,
Chevelle won't need a robe.
Chevelle won't. Yeah, so
Chevelle's got fire resistance.
Yeah, I already know Chevelle won't need a robe, so that's why I was just counting.
Russell's been in the desert many times.
Yeah, so I was counting. Look, even if you guys don't wear yours, you know.
Well, if you get me one, I'll wear it just to see what it's like.
Yeah, well,
try anything once.
That's what I mean. So I was aiming for 5. So shouldn't give him the Pearl of Power. That's probably not a good choice. Ooh.
So how often do you use it?
You do find that he's not as
The Pearl of
interested
Power?
in magical items.
No. Ooh. This might be interesting. I was kind of saving this for a certain fairy dragon, but she hasn't been able to be with us. I take out the potion of doviness, and I say, I can offer you this with a great story, and I look towards Al, possibly with pictures. Maybe not. Can't guarantee that bit. I'll be completely honest, but I can be fairly descriptive on a PG level.
Does Zell add anything to that? Or has Em fallen asleep?
No, I'm
Eating?
me. Yeah.
She's trying not to spit her food everywhere because she knows exactly what scene I'm talking about between Sofa and Chevelle. But I feel like since Chevelle's not here to defend herself, she deserves this.
Because I'm not actually near you.
You didn't
Sorry.
come back in with me to keep an eye on the shifty guy with your innocent, often naive, childlike charge?
I figured I would let you learn how to navigate your way through the world. I have given you prior warning. I think that's good enough.
In which
Sometimes
case,
the
oh, sorry.
But before you go on, because you're talking about this scene, somewhere in the camp, you see a holographic projection come up, and you hear Zal frantically trying to no, stop it, Dad.
I was gonna say, if Zal's not there, Calcrix just puts her talon up and then sticks her head out the tent. Zal!
Yeah, one moment. Few moments later.
Zal does hear the summons. Mid eating food.
And they're like,
and at that point, you start hearing the crystalline skull on your hip going, Zal, in celestial until you respond.
Stop! What's going on?
Jesus Christ.
And it doesn't seem to be responding to what you're saying to it, but apparently it keeps going until you reach Calcrix.
Okay, I will.
And
I my food, I hadn't done so already.
And like any 12-year-old child who has no idea about patience and at least waiting a reasonable length of time before repeating said call, you'll hear at least 2 of those before you actually reach me. I'm just warning you about things to look forward to with Mia.
Yep.
Sure, it's already there.
Look.
Yeah, no, it's already started.
The 5-year-old with severe ADHD next door, I am just kind of using him as inspiration of how to roleplay Calcrix right now.
Okay, so yes, you show up and the crystalline skull does stop yelling as soon as you reach Calcrix.
I will, in 12-year-old high-speed speech, explain to you that I am negotiating for one final robe of cool wateriness made out of actual strands of water, and that I am offering this potion of doviness, and along with it, as this good merchant, like all people of taste and good education, does appreciate a really good tale, and I felt that this tale would not do Cheval justice unless your father had a role in visual demonstration. I'm very earnest right now.
Kind of chokes on whatever food he had left in his mouth, as he was probably trying to still eat as he was finding where you wandered off to and called me wrong. It kind of raises an eyebrow at you, do you want to do this?
If you do look like you're choking, you will get a dragon pat down the middle of between your shoulder blades to make sure that you cough that up and don't get an obstruction.
So, does this also have sound in it? Or
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, damn, I thought it was going to not have it, so then we would need a bar to go...
See, Bradshaw is now going to learn why when he sent his explicit images of thinking about his wife to Calcrix's mind, why Calcrix really wasn't bothered. Because she really had seen this all before.
Yeah.
I'm for the worst one, Jeff. Trust me.
Yeah.
Pain, Rachel.
Why would you do this to a
Bradshaw involves
12-year-old?
fireworks and fluffy animals?
Anyway, Bradshaw's walking outside the tent because he's over this yelling and screaming, so he's going to find a local pub and just find a drink, okay?
There is no local pub.
Actually, isn't
They
there?
don't have alcohol in the in this village.
Yeah, because alcohol is bad.
In the desert.
I'm going to find my goat and just talk to my goat for a bit, okay? So, it relaxes Bradshaw, okay?
Your goat's happy to headbutt you as many times as you want.
Well, I get out the pouch of my endless apples and start feeding to the goat.
So, does that mean that Bradshaw needs a drink?
Oh, yeah.
Bradshaw thinks he's worried about whether this party going. But
I
anyway,
used one.
Well, you do have a way that Bradshaw can actually make full use of a healing potion.
sure.
And if he drinks too many, he gets drunk from it.
So, yeah, because the dwarves, if the potion is mixed with alcohol, bypasses their usual failures.
Ooh.
I get half healing from healing spells and potions.
Unless it's mixed with alcohol.
That's right.
Hey.
I don't know.
I can remake my dwarf monk going of the
Drunken Master.
Drunken Master.
Okay, so does Zal unleash the father?
Don't you need?
I'll get cotton buds like out of his hat. Don't ask why he has them. He just does.
Yeah, he asks for payments because it's a viewing fee.
Calcrix also puts the earplugs.
Zal's like, you brought this on yourself, and we'll get Dad off like the hip sling.
I'm good with that, but I do put earplugs into Eep's ears and then turn her so that she can't see and say, "You look out that way. Trust Calcrix. This is one story you don't want to learn."
Fadak. This is going to be lame. This is going to be trivial.
Well, it could well be, but Calcrix is also, as I've
Calcrix
said
also
before,
thinks of Eve as young.
yeah, she's 12. She thinks Eep is 12. She has no idea.
She doesn't know how old Eve is.
This is why Zal
That's
should
why.
never have really left Calcrix alone.
Okay, so
I will note that I didn't get a choice in that, but that's fine.
and there's the sound
When do you ever get a choice?
Never, ever.
He's been released.
So just before we go into the viewing, we will have a Josh introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Josh. This is the furthest I've made it home all afternoon. I play Sugar, the Paladin!
And you probably jinxed yourself.
Huh?
Okay, so to give Josh a insight of where he's up to, Zal has just brought out the skull to do a repeat performance of the balcony scene with Chauvel and Sofa.
I thought you were about to say Zal has brought the skull out to do a last tour and you knew well.
Well, technically it's Alas pour Chauvel, we knew you well.
That too.
As there is this big projection above the village with immense sound, fireworks going off.
Yep.
Okay, I thought they were going to downgrade it a bit, not yeah.
As you hear it echoing all over the village.
I could see someone getting in trouble by the religious side of this community. Indecent.
And also the recreational drug use without.
Did you say recreational drug use?
Yes, without consent.
Oh, wow. Yep.
So is this area is like the what was it? Oh, dang, now I've got to remember.
They don't mind recreational drug use, but they do stop at the they don't like the no consent part.
What about nakedness being open?
Well, in this case, it is foreign infidels.
Yeah. So they don't mind them not wearing veils.
Did you say foreign infidels?
Yes, they have local infidels, but they're completely different to the foreign infidels.
Okay, alright. Just check.
Yeah, the local ones still wear veils.
We missed that, Josh.
Infidel. I kill you.
Yes, they see the descendants of the Nithians as infidels because they are mainly fire worshippers.
It's just as well we have someone that's no longer being on fire.
No, he's still fire.
I thought he wasn't.
Still has fire.
But it's black, so therefore it's not fire.
He has black and fire.
So what, he's red and black.
Yes. Mostly black until he activates the fire.
Okay.
I was going to say, I presume that was a Jeff Dunhadjura, the puppet guy.
Yeah.
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 So yes, there is a lot of attention given to this guy for the next 3 hours.
3 hours, is it?
Yep.
Wow.
I did warn you.
So-
Do we really want to do this right now?
Well, that's one way of having a
I didn't
diversion.
realise it was 3 hours in my defence. I thought this would not be quite that long.
Well,
no,
it-
it went like most of the night.
And that's the condensed version, by the way.
Oh.
The non-condensed version goes on for 12.
I feel like I'm overpaying at this point for the robes.
No, you just mentally scarred your host. Fine, right?
Well, you know, that might mean that this works out well for a long-term merchant relationship.
He happily trades you another 2 robes for the interesting story and asks what you would trade for the skull.
The skull is not for sale.
Well, he wasn't talking sale, he was talking trade.
The skull is not for trade.
Yeah, Zal says, no, this is a family heirloom.
He says family heirlooms are just stories to tell in the future.
You've always got your
I
arrow.
didn't quite get my meaning here.
It'd be one way to get rid of the arrow. I'm joking.
Actually, what is the range of that arrow?
Zal has never tested.
I wonder if you fire it and Cheval's in the other continent, if it'll actually go to that other continent.
I would know the exact location if that is the case.
But would not be
So-
able to reach it with a shot.
Okay, so it's not.
It's not seeking. It just knows exactly where the target is.
Okay.
The target can never be concealed.
You need to upgrade that to seeking.
No, I really don't.
Well, if that happens, then every time Zal fires it, it will seek Cheval.
Well, problem is, if you don't do something soon, it's going to upgrade itself to seeking.
Yeah? I know.
So what is
Yes,
it?
probably.
You got 9 months? Because I think we've already wasted 3 months of anything, haven't we?
So far.
Yeah.
And so yes, you
Not wasted. Yes.
you have managed to earn yourself 6 of the robes.
As I think I only need 5 because Cheval.
Doesn't mean you can't trade the other one to someone else later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I would also wonder. Actually, no. I will hold on to the extra one. I was gonna look at doing a trade for something else, but I think holding on to it's actually probably a good idea.
Did we write down the vendor's name from last session?
I did not. I was going to watch back the episode, but of course I did not get time. I was too busy writing housing letters and things.
Okay, so he does give Cal Creeks his contact card, a small little round disc made out of brass.
Nice. I will.
You can see on one side it has a city emblem, which you don't recognize.
I shall investigate that when I'm in private, but for now I'll.
And on the other side it seems to have the guy's personal seal.
Oh, well, that seems like a pretty cool thing too. I thank him very much for his trade, and I hope to see him again sometime soon in my travels.
He does travel widely, he says.
But right now, I think I've delayed the group enough in having a look for our skeleton and our idol. And after that, I will take one of the robes and present it on both arms in a very Japanese traditional sort of way, like you do a kimono to Zal, for her sacrifices.
His sacrifices.
In helping me make the trades.
His sacrifices.
His sacrifices?
Zal is a he.
Oh, his sacrifices. Apologies. And
Zal wasn't the one getting embarrassed for it.
well, anyway, here, 1,000 GP's worth of rope.
I think the full version twice and the shortened version at least 3 times now. So you know what? I think I deserve this.
Yeah, no, he's definitely earned it. I also will give one to Yodri, who's...
And Zal does find that the earplugs don't work at all.
Did the earplugs work for Eep though? Because they're proper earplugs, not cotton wool.
Well, the Father Skull does make sure Zal gets the entire experience.
Okay, so it doesn't matter what she uses. He uses. Sorry, Zal, I'm getting really bad on that.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'll get there. I'll also present to Anton one to at least wear in the desert, even if he doesn't feel like he needs it long term. But if he wants to return it, if he could please wash it, that would be really appreciated.
Do you think it's waterproof?
Where you're wearing it now, you can find out.
Prestidigitation probably clean it well enough.
It will.
And with that,
No, because I was also planning on using it as a bathrobe.
I will conclude my business, apologise to the party for holding them up so long while I traded, but I will point out I think these robes will do us well during our travels in Yularum. And we should go search for that skeleton.
On a side note, while Bradshaw's been dealing with his goat, and how many headbutts can I have in that period, Mark?
It's 3 hours. You could probably have, let's say, 180 to 300.
Bradshaw's unconscious, okay, because you might go to dragon.
I know.
So I'm thinking Bradshaw's passed. You see Bradshaw kind of looking asleep but passed out next to the goat. The goat was 6 miles face.
And the goat can do 1 to 2 headbutts in a minute.
I know. So I've kind of I've fed the goats all full with apples. But I've looks like I'm sleeping, but I'm actually passed out. So.
Is he a masochist?
Well, he did enjoy feeding his goat an apple and get a headbutt. Feed his goat an apple, get a headbutt.
Yeah.
Sort of feed his goat an apple, get a headbutt. Go to feed his goat an apple, take a while, finally give the goat an apple and get a headbutt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that or his goat doesn't like it.
You're sort of concussion at this rate.
Well, I was getting bored with the whole situation. It's the best thing for me at the time. So.
And he fell asleep to the entire scene and had that imprint on his memory.
The whole yeah. I've got a little goat. I don't know. Would it be dragon scales or goat horn? I say. How would it look at? Yeah. Must have little nipples of dragon scale on my forehead there. Yeah. But yeah. Well, it looks like I've got dragon scales here. Yeah.
Hey, at least it's got a glowing hoof.
Okay, I'm not out till somebody wakes me up, so it's all good.
We wake you up. Although you'll be, if you run out of hit points.
So how are we actually traversing through the desert?
1 step at a time.
Yeah, but are we using our mounts or not?
That depends. Can your mount go through the desert?
That's where I don't think it is, because it's a water elemental. It's a sea foamy thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you would like going through the desert.
We work
If
hard-
it's an actual water elemental, then it cannot leave water.
No, it's a...
If it's infused with water, then it is a horse with aspects of water without actually being made of water.
Yeah.
No more so than a person is made of water.
We were also travelling with an expedition. They had camels.
I'm quite sure you're on his goat because his goat likes to hasn't had much trouble recently. So.
Yeah, his goat doesn't care about the desert.
And
No, my
the
goat's
camels
fine.
don't go very fast. We can walk.
What
Although I think I was riding with Drazzle on his cart.
You were. And you do notice that it doesn't get hot on his car.
Okay, so I don't really need his robe. But I've got the robe and the parasol just in case.
But you do find that when you're walking on the desert sands, it's not hot anymore.
Okay. With the robe. Okay.
And your skin doesn't burn.
Yeah, well, I can't take off jarhide, so the skin's not really burning much at all.
Well, your face still burns.
No, that's from my face.
Your legs will burn if you don't have pants on.
Yeah.
So
Part of my face, though, is heavily scarred, so that can't burn.
Well, it can still burn. Scar can burn.
Okay, scar burns.
And it may actually hurt more because of it.
Pain, I've endured pain.
But with the robe on, nothing seems to burn.
Okay, alright. I don't have identifier, so I don't know whether this thing's cursed or not.
I'm sure it's cursed. You feel good. Anything that makes you feel good is obviously evil.
Anything that makes you feel good is obviously evil. Maybe.
Considering all the suffering you've had and the suffering has made your life better.
I don't know that my life is better than it
Well,
was.
you're no longer imprisoned. You're no longer lined up for execution.
Yeah.
You're no longer wandering aimlessly about a life. You have purpose.
Leave the worm alone, Phantom. Leave the worm
Yeah.
alone.
And hey, you now have a master to serve sometime in the future.
Yeah. Still think I made a few wrong. I've made a few wrong moves that got me into this mess in the first place. But anyway, I don't feel the heat. I was happy to travel at night, by the way.
Well, the expedition wants to travel where they can see things better.
Okay, all right, we're traveling today.
Yeah. The problem is the only people that can really see at night is me and you.
I can cast a daylight spell.
And Bradshaw. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just give us away our position.
Yeah, look, I think we're pretty obvious all the time. I don't think we're all that stealthy.
Yeah, but we don't need a big ball of light saying we are here.
Yeah, I'm definitely not stealthy. I've got adamant plate armor, so full set.
We don't want to.
Yeah, that's right. I forget. I'm the stealthy one here.
You're the only one. I used to be stealthy, but Drazzle switched my boots around.
That's cool.
Oh, I got your
Such
boots.
a prankster.
Was the boots of Elvenkind.
Yeah.
So you're extra stealthy.
Yeah.
The only person stealthier than you is Drazzle.
Yeah, but Drazzle cheats.
Yeah, that's right, he's stealthier. I never said he does it because he's more skillful.
Yeah, he just doesn't cheat. He just doesn't have to be there at that point of time, and then he can reappear at another point of time.
No.
He just doesn't walk in a linear fashion.
Yeah.
If you can walk backwards and forwards through time, wouldn't you want to cheat all the time?
Drazzle's a blue dragon descent, isn't he? I can't remember. Blue dragons are actually desert, aren't they?
They are the water dragons.
They're the water ones, are they? I'm trying to think which one of the chromatics is a desert one. Maybe it's a red dragon.
The blues are only desert dragons in Yalarum because they settled before the desert
Okay.
and they didn't move their city.
Well, I'll ask
Well,
Drazzle.
that's because
Drazzle will
they-
know. Blue dragons, where are they normally found?
In water.
In water, okay. So is there a chromatic dragon associated with desert?
He thinks for a moment and goes, most likely the black.
Oh, the black, okay.
Because
I thought they were associated with swamps.
They like the less
They like isolation.
isolation.
So that's the reason why they like swamps, deserts. Actually, they'll pretty also be good for Arctic, but that might be a bit cold for them.
No, they don't worry about cold. Though blues like the Arctic as well.
Okay. And white dragons.
White dragons like to be higher up.
Okay.
They love being up in the clouds. You're noticing that he's talking a little different than he normally talks.
That's because they like to blend in.
The colour is closely aligned to the environment.
Okay. Insight. What's going on with Drazzle? I've never heard him speak like that before.
He seems to be relaxed in this region,
Okay.
but you've never really seen him in one of
That's
the...
because nothing happens here.
Okay, nothing happens here.
Or it might
I don't
be
know,
closer to one of
something
his
might
homes.
happen here very soon.
Yeah. Do you have a home, do you, Drazzle?
Yes.
Of course
No,
it
it's not the
does.
way. It's not the cart then.
No.
Okay. Can we ever visit your home?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't Bradshaw visit you, though?
Bradshaw visited home.
Yeah, I did. Bradshaw says, yeah, I've been there.
How far away is your home?
So,
I'm
it's
talking
a-
about space, not time.
It hops,
He thinks
skips-
it goes 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
No, okay.
It's a hop,
space.
skip, and a jump away.
I was hoping. I was meaning space, not time. But anyway.
You mean distance, not
Yeah.
space. You got to be very specific with Drazzle.
And that doesn't mean he'll answer in the way you want him to.
Look, I've actually got something vaguely approaching a conversation going on with Drazzle. This is almost a first. It's only happened a couple of times before. Most of the time, it's very one-sided.
Bradshaw just sighs when you say that and go, yep, been there.
Have you fixed up your double vision yet?
Double vision. I've got double vision, have I?
Well, every time you put the helm on.
Oh no, I don't. No, I don't. I'm not wearing the helmet. Helmet's packed away.
He says that one of the dragon water temples is in this region.
Okay, a water temple. This is desert.
It was under the river that ran through the centre of the...
Oh, we
Oh
should go
really?
anywhere
There's a
near-
river. There was a river here once.
Yep.
We should go check out this once of a time river.
The
river valley.
The river has was diverted many centuries ago.
But there'll still be a valley or something, won't there?
Okay.
Where's the
So, if
oh,
I
Valley of
remember-
Death? Is that it?
Oh, we've already
So
been in
basically
Valley
the
of Death.
river ran right through the centre here and out.
Okay.
So that's, I think that is the rough location of where it is,
Okay.
in the Great Salt Basin.
Where was the thing that the ruins that we went to?
Which was this one. Near there, I believe it was. The other ruins you went to was there, Cinderseal.
Yeah.
That was
What
the
were you-
one.
what were you-
Is that the bygone?
So what were you looking for there?
They were looking to investigate the 4 cults of that place, and when they finally got to the 4th cult, they went home.
Okay.
That's because over half the party decided to attack the...
Avatar of that temple,
Yeah.
because it was there.
Okay.
That's what happens when you got a crazy paladin.
Even Bradshaw thinks that's very out of line. But, yeah.
The funny thing for you, Mark, is they saw this creature, they leapt at it, and then fell 80 feet to the floor it was standing on, even though it was above the level that they were looking at, realizing it was at least 100 feet tall. And they were not really in a great condition to fight it after falling 80 feet.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
And then Calcrich offered to make it coffee, and it pretty much sat on the rest of the party while having the coffee.
Well, I've never had
No, I didn't sit on me because I wasn't dumb enough to go anywhere near
I
it.
said most of the party.
I was with Calcrix going, what the hell did they just do?
We had Zal, Chauvel, and Imni all leap into the pit.
I thought I stayed out of it.
No, you leapt in.
No, you leapt in.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I still haven't got featherfall yet for when something like that happens, when we fly. We haven't flown for a long time though, have we?
One of the reasons
Sure, I think we had
Calcrix
to.
wanted to
Thank
offer the coffee to the... She thought you guys were all going to die.
Well,
Sounds like
technically
they
they
would
would
have.
have.
Sounds like they nearly did.
They would have.
Well, you lost a lot of hit points real fast. I remember that much.
I
Gravity
do
and a
have
hard
feather fall.
surface do that.
You don't have feather fall?
I don't have featherfall.
Well,
Featherfall
the
is
main
not
issue-
available to warlocks.
The main
Oh, that's
issue
right,
was
because I
that as
got
soon as
lost.
they jumped, if the spellcaster was behind them, they were out of line of effect.
Okay.
Because it's jump, drop. And basically by the time they reached them, they'd already hit the bottom.
Okay.
At least when Bradshaw jumped on his go, he destroyed many airships. So,
You had a plan when you lit your goat on fire before you jumped?
hey,
You lit your goat on fire?
well, and if you are, and if I'm talking about this in character, I go about the great story of Bradshaw, you know, put a few additional extras in there as I talk about how I, you know, did all this great stuff, and then as a last resort, because no one else could do anything, I lit my goat on fire to see if we can blow up ships, many ships, which I did, I believe. So.
It worked. It worked.
And in the middle of him doing that one, the party released a orb of devastation of fire into the entire fleet.
Okay. And this fleet of airships, they aren't sort of hydrogen blimps or something?
There were
like
some of those there.
that? Okay.
But they were all the entire flying armada of Alphatia.
Okay, well done.
Which,
Yes, it was
if they
very
hadn't,
interesting.
if they hadn't have done that, would have resulted in the deaths of everyone in your region.
Okay, well, I'm grateful to you for that.
That's okay. Bit of a headache when I woke up, but it was worth it in the end. So.
I didn't realise, but I was at risk at that time when you've blown up that whole region. I was in that region.
Oh.
I didn't even know anything had happened.
Well, when you got to do things, you got to do things. Bradshaw does a bit of a.
And now there's a statue of Bradshaw in the centre of the capital of Alphatia as one of the villains who had killed the most people in their nation in a single instant.
You're famous.
On a flaming goat?
You're famous.
No, not on the go. Just a image of him has been. Well, technically, they have his dead body suspended in clear stone in one of their plazas.
Grey with hopefully not too much milk.
Thank you.
Just enough.
He's died 9 times in time shifts, and each time he died, there's a dead body of his left there.
I was
That's
going to say,
correct.
how's Bradshaw still alive?
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, if you've died 9 times, how come you're here?
Because of a time fracture.
Okay.
Each death let them go back to when the fracture happened, but left the body behind.
This has got nothing to do with you, has it, Drazzle?
Drazzle created the fracture.
Okay, it's got a lot to do with you, Drazzle.
I just say, Drazzle loves me. I just say that out loud.
I would like it duly
Really?
noted that Calcrix's player, much
What
like
has
Calcrix
Drazzle react to that?
Sorry,
Sorry, there's multiple things going at the same time.
that's why I'm pausing.
So
Bradshaw claims that Drazzle loves him.
Drazzle gives big hug to Bradshaw.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
there you go.
True.
Bradshaw gives big hug to Drazzle.
You do hear the cracking of the armor shifting.
I've never seen emotion in a Drazzle. How about that?
But he gives people hugs all the time.
So
Okay.
what, Drazzle
Yes.
gets cracked by Bradshaw's hugging him? Or is
No, the other way around. Drazzle's stronger than Bradshaw, definitely. Yeah.
What do you?
Pfeffernuss, because I just like saying the word Pfeffernuss. Chocolate chip cookies made by Kesley. And then I think
Why
it's
don't you
called
make a character called that?
Pocky.
Could I try one of
Pfeffernuss?
the cookies from Kesley?
I've
Because I haven't
got
tried
a
one yet.
plate
Yeah.
for you that I'm just bringing over, but I can only do
Another plate.
one plate at a
Any-
time.
Any way for virtual scent thing at all, so I can smell it in the hospital there? Yeah.
Sure, here you go. Here's the virtual coffee flavour for you.
Smells so good.
Martin
Oh,
has
yeah.
vanilla, just so that you've got the thing. So yeah, Kesley and some Pocky.
Well, we'll already have to
I
use it
should
as a-
create a
oh,
character called Pfeffernuss because, well, actually, I think maybe I should call my character Pfeffernuss Panini, because they're 2 of my favourite P words.
While Bradshaw says, "Oh, thank you, Drazzle," and a bit sore afterwards, feeling the arm the
Well,
full
the armor just slides back into place.
So you've
because-
been headed butted to unconsciousness by a goat,
Yep.
and now you've had bones cracked by Drazzle.
There's 2 dragons, by the way. My goat's a dragon, so
But
yes.
on the plus side, Drazzle didn't headbutt him.
That's true.
Are all creatures in this that look like one thing end up being another, like goat dragons?
I'm actually human, and I look like I'm human underneath it all.
I meant like animal pets. Although, no, I think most of Zowls are actually what
Proshka
they're
looks
supposed
like
to be. Ooh,
Proshka looks like a tiny dragon, and is a tiny
a dragon. There you go.
No, Bradshaw, original
I
goat
think
was
the
his
only
brother,
one
so
of mine-
yeah, just you go. Sorry,
Sorry.
Oh, no, I interrupted you. You go first.
I'll just say Bradshaw's original goat was actually his brother. He found out in the end, so therefore he doesn't ride his brother anymore because it's very bad in many different ways. So that's why Drazzle felt, oh, well, Bradshaw needs a mount, so he gave him this goat, which that happened to be a possible dragon design dressed as a goat. So, yeah.
That acts like a cat. Like
It
a
acts like an
headbutting.
angry dragon as a goat, so yes.
Much like Russell calls his horse, he calls Bradshaw's goat, even though Bradshaw has a different name for it.
Yeah. And it likes apples and likes skin button meat, so yeah.
I think somebody's been watching too much Monkey.
And apparently he also likes the taste of dwarf.
Yeah.
Hasn't bitten you yet, but it is happy to make sure you're clean.
No. We've had this discussion. Dwarf finding is on loud.
So he needs to get a ring of regrowth. And make sure that the his
Well,
goat
no, it is
doesn't
okay,
munch off
of course.
that ring finger.
Yeah. But don't bite him of dwarfs. No. We've had this discussion. We're working on the underlying eagerness to find a dwarf. So yeah.
Okay. Amongst all this,
So he's got a native with the halflings.
No, technically he's still a child.
Yeah, Drazzle's not much older.
Referring to Bradshaw being a child.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Bradshaw is a child until he reaches the age of 50, which is still 8 years away in the game.
Yeah.
I thought he was over 50.
No. I'm a young kid. I just got let out of the home a bit earlier than required.
Oh no, you got kicked out at the earliest time possible for all dwarves. Most dwarves are kicked out of the nation at the age of 30, which is the equivalent of start of teenage years. And they're generally not welcomed back until the age of 50, when most of those teenage years are finished.
Oh, okay, so that's why Cheval was so angst.
Well, Cheval isn't a dwarf. Cheval is the Genasi.
No, Cheval, the dwarf, the angst bar.
Andrak?
Yeah.
Andrak wasn't a child either. Mark wanted to be the child.
I wanted to be a child because I was a teenager working in the city watching and I got kicked out by my clan and family, and because I needed to learn the world because I was supposed to cause the German trouble in the city.
And so Mark's character became a child bride.
Yes, that's true.
and you are a statue immortalized as the greatest enemy your face has ever encountered.
Well, used to get seduced by the Mistress of Blades.
And also managed to get a couple of other members of the party immortalized in the same place. So I believe Dimitri, Plum, and maybe one or two others are also in that square, immortalized the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, you're famous far more than the rest of us.
Yeah.
Oh, famous, being such a great dwarf as I am, of course I'll be famous.
Also said to be potentially responsible for the end of the world because he destroyed both the Planner and the Void fleets protecting the planet.
Well, we wouldn't go that far, that's going too far here.
No, that is part of the thing that happened.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Because this is the thing from the on thing coming in.
Yes, they stop things from coming through Planner traversing, the Alpha-18s were doing that, and they stopped things travelling through the void to reach you. But both of those fleets got wiped out.
No, we still got the cats. We still got the cats.
Very minor things there, man. Very, very minor.
Carol
Minor.
Pricks had a question.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I've been trying
Yep.
to wait. And now that the bargaining's all done, she wanted to ask Anton, what was this that you told us about the merchant who sold a figure to a man who then went out into the desert?
Oh yes, that's right. Sold what sounded like the Carnelian idol
Yes.
to a Phaeacian.
Yes.
You know, and you know what Phaeacians
Yeah,
are
yeah.
like. And he headed off into the desert, and I got the direction.
I think the actual story was he bought one from a man, and then he sold it to a man who went out to a desert. Then another man found the skeleton in the desert, brought it back, and then he sold it to the Phaeacian,
Yeah.
who then also walked out into the desert, and now he's probably a skeleton out
Yeah,
in the
it
desert.
seems to have a bit of a pattern.
So we've got to be very
It sounds like this bloody
careful.
item's cursed.
We've got to be very careful about.
So we've got lots of cursed items. What's another one?
Last game, I warned people not to touch the item if we find it with their bare hands.
At which point you're going to provide them with sake
Sacks from my endless bag of sacks. So
called
I will
sake.
hand out sacks to people at this point. And was it Zal who was going to do a locate, or we had a picture to do a locate object?
Yeah, we did, that's
Someone-
what we had.
No, for each sack you pull out, you then have to roll the d20.
Oh, do I?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And if you roll equal to or less than the number of sacks you've drawn, the item loses its power.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I didn't know
look,
this about it.
So,
Yeah, it's just that you've been
we don't need the sacks yet.
Because you
Hold on to the sacks for now
Hold on to
until
the
we get
sacks for now.
close to the.
Yeah.
I was just wanting people to have something on them, so that when they found the item, they didn't automatically reach out and grab it with their hands.
I think we just need the caution, the advice. Your ointment would be really good on this. You know, ointment, have a look at it. Is it really what it seems to be?
Do we really trust and please don't take offence to this, Bradshaw, to not just pick it up with his bare hands?
Bradshaw survived 9 deaths. I think Bradshaw can survive anything.
I kind
he's
of don't
died more
want
than
to
9 times.
see
Okay.
him die again. I haven't got to know him well enough to want to see him die
I don't
again.
think he'll die. Somehow or
That-
other.
Yeah, but
implies
I
I
don't really
want
like
to see him
him
die.
ex-
That
I
came
don't
out
want him.
wrong.
I don't want him to see him. I don't want to see him die. But I just kind of think he's defeated death so many times,
He didn't defeat death.
or evaded
No.
death,
No, he
no.
cheated death.
cheated death.
Yeah,
He technically died each time, and those bodies didn't come back.
I
I
feel
don't understand that.
that I would like to preserve his life if I can for the moment.
an exploding
But from-
dwarf I do not want to see.
From his stories of his adventures, I do not want to have to
No,
try
I
and
think-
follow him out into the middle of the
That
desert.
Dazzle refers to them as potential future versions.
Okay, I just think we also need to understand if we see this Carnelian idol, we don't touch it straight away.
Look, to be honest, pulling out a sack from this bag of endless sacks, if the bag of endless sacks loses its worth or its capability, it is a sack of endless sacks. It's not like I'm using a jewel
Okay, so-
of endless jewels.
So you pull the first one out,
15.
Yeah, that's fine.
then it's still working. You can pull the second one out. So now it's a 2,
Ooh, 6.
It's alright, you
Then it
need to
still
roll a 2
works.
or a 1.
and then you pull out the third one, which is now up to 3.
that's
Is that
cocked.
11?
That's cocked.
It's either an 11 or a 9.
Then it's fine either
Yep.
way.
No,
you're
pulling-
you don't need.
You said you wanted one for each, so that means you need to pull out 5.
I don't need one.
You don't need one? Oops,
No.
sorry. Did that hit you?
No, I need the check.
Then you're up to
Uh,
your 4th one.
So,
Because I've got my bag of holding.
Anton's got one. You are
Yeah.
not going to touch that with your bag of holding.
You know
Alright,
it's an
so
artifact.
I'm...
Okay. In that case, I'll pull out my backpack out of my bag of holding. See, I got seconds.
Okay, alright. Well, I don't know why everyone's so worried about this sack of endless sacks and preserving it. Because
I think it's because it was an annoyance to find.
the irony here is that
You do know sacks cost like 2 copper pieces each.
Yeah, it was just that it was
Exactly.
annoying to
We can just buy
find.
some sacks.
So while our lovely dragon's doing this,
anyway, so there's 3.
I go into my dwarven bag of holding, pull out
That's
3
the
more
last.
sacks.
That's the last
Okay,
one.
we get 4.
So we got 4.
So now you have 5 all up with the one you drew it just being an empty sack now.
Okay, alright. So yeah, no,
Can these
that's
sacks be actually different colours?
No.
yeah. It's like I might as well use
Is
it.
that a legitimate question with this endless bag of sacks?
You don't have to worry. It's no longer endless.
Oh, it's not. Okay, well, that was going to be my question. If you shove the sacks that you've taken out back in, does it get its magic back, or is it just broken completely?
It ran itself out of charges.
I think it renews charges, doesn't it, Martin?
Only if it's not been run out.
Oh, okay.
There's also an assumption we've got here that
How
a
do you know?
thin layer of cloth will protect us from whatever the curse is.
And it's like a few of them have potions. When they use a potion, the potion's expended. So the sack of sacks is just something that you can maintain over time, or you can just use until it stops working.
So, having learnt that after the fact, is it possible for Calcrits to try to preserve at least one so there's at least one charge?
Well, the rolling is to determine whether or not that was the last charge.
Oh, okay.
And if you rolled less than the number of sacks equal to or less than the number of sacks you pulled out, that was the last charge.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, unfortunately I've used up my sack of endless sacks, but I have 5 sacks that I can reuse, right?
Yep.
Okay, are we ready to set off yet?
Yes.
Yep. Somebody's woken up, Bradshaw. I'm awake now. I'm ready to go.
And now Calcrix has technically made herself sack feet if she wants to use that on the sand.
That's true. Although I don't know the sacks will last very long.
Well,
I presume these are just like thin Hessian sacks.
They are
Hessian
Hessian
sacks.
sacks, yes.
Yeah, so
Does my robe help me with the hot sand?
You don't feel the heat, but the sacks can do the equivalent of webbing in water on sand.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
I forgot I've got my component pouch as well.
does that mean I take one of my sacks back so that I can cover my feet?
You can do that, yes. Just makes it a lot faster for you to move on sand.
okay. Is it sand or is it sort of rocky ground? Or?
Most of the stuff you're heading to is sand.
Okay, so wheels like Drazel's cart are going to have struggle with this.
You would think so, yes.
Yeah, but he's got wheels of elven kind.
You notice even his wheels will go across water.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll just continue riding
right,
with
that
cart.
actually doesn't leave a trace as well.
No, doesn't leave a trace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bradshaw just rewrite and go.
Okay.
Because I tried to run around with Goat. Goat looks fine on the sand. Goat's happy.
Zal wants to ride Calcrix rather than. I don't know if any of her mounts are with her. Him.
Chocobo loves the desert.
Chocobo,
Yeah,
who is
I was gonna say
apparently the
chocobo.
body of a new breed of chocobo skill. Axebeaks.
Well, hey, I'm sure it's the Chocobo variant of Axe Speaks.
Chocobo daddy.
And you did hear somewhere in the market that there is a bunch of coffee thieves. No one has been able to identify what they are.
I think that because they're called chocobos because that's the noise that they make. Chocobo! Chocobo!
Is anyone any good at tracking?
Yes.
Admittedly, any tracks are probably long gone, but just know. I mean, we know the direction, but
We have an image, so we could do a locate object.
that's true. We've got an image. We can do a locate object.
Okay.
Because Martin said the picture that we got from the merchant you spoke to was good
Yeah.
So, did it have water in it?
The image?
The object,
No, the picture.
Locate object has a maximum range, though. Which I can't remember.
Actually,
I think it must be on the same plane.
Special 1,000-foot radius. Concentration 10 minutes.
so it's a mile.
The spell reveals the general direction the object is in, southeast, if it is within range. This includes its current trajectory if it's travelling.
Well, for 1,000 feet, you could probably do most of the desert.
Concentration 10 minutes. Yeah. Okay. We go slowly with concentration and we, yeah, okay. We don't really need tracking that much.
I also have
Where did you use that, or
located
was that all
objects,
I don't have locate object. I was looking up what it does.
Cow Creek does, which is... So, Anton was looking it up, so he could advise.
Yeah.
I don't have the spell though.
And as it can be done as a ritual.
Yeah, it can be done as a ritual.
I was going to say I can do it as a ritual as well.
So basically you can get re-bearings and make sure you're pointing in the right direction. With your dowsing rods.
Mm.
It sounds like a
Like
plan.
that a
water
water
divining, yeah.
It's called a dowsing rod for water, but it's the same principle of two sticks sort of things, and when the two sticks cross over, that's the direction you go.
Yeah,
And the closer that the sticks are pointing towards each other, the closer you are to the target.
so, can other people help in the ritual?
I'm sure they can. You hold one stick, you hold the other.
No. I'm just thinking of because if it's sort of water based, is there any bonuses if it's actually cast at a higher level?
I don't think so. Rituals don't usually have that.
You can cast them at a higher level, but it does increase the DC.
No. With you
There's
got using
nothing-
the
nothing
bowl
special.
of commanding water elements.
No, it doesn't say anything about cast at a higher level.
It's just that you can cast water effects as if they were cast one slot higher. Note, this is not for cold or force damage spells.
I don't think it's a water spell.
It is not a water spell.
Oh well. Can be used to commune with gods, immortals of time, water, or gaining inspiration dice from ceremonial rituals for these gods.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Cow Creek doesn't follow wouldn't be following a water god. So was there something you were saying there, Josh?
I'm going to head off. I'm really tired after the day. Thanks for the game to see you.
All good. You go rest up, and we'll talk to you again soonish.
Alright, thanks guys.
Yes. Bye-bye, Sticky Paladin.
As we seem to have the exit theme music for the paladin kicking off there.
Yep.
Medication.
So, yes, you do have dowsing rods you can use to point you in the right direction. Go.
Well, follow the dowsing rods.
Okay, so that would be where we get Cow Creek to do a ritual roll. Or Cow Creek would have memorized the spell that day and not need to roll.
Hmm.
That's the benefit of memorization. Would Cow Creek have memorized locate object that day, or would Cow Creek have rolled?
Having known
You
that
were
they
looking
were going
for
to
it?
be looking for something, yes, she would have.
Okay, so that means you didn't have to make a roll to be able to use it.
This is good news.
And you don't have to actually, you can do it as a ritual by the fact you actually have it memorized.
Yeah. I'm just moving this to the seat because it would be nice.
I reckon this is going to be a long trip. I'm sitting in a cart and I've learned something about Drazzle after all this time. The first thing I've learned, he actually has a home. I'm going to start asking you questions about his home. What's it like? How big is it? What's in this home?
As big as it needs to be.
As big as it needs to be. So it's not always the same size.
Or in the same space.
Okay. It's just as productive for down
Or at the
conversation.
same time.
Okay.
And it's bigger on the inside.
Sometimes the outside.
Do you have furniture in your home?
Yes.
Beds even?
As many as it needs.
Okay. I think that's going to be the answer to everything.
It was a lovely home, Rachel says.
Do you have a kitchen? Do you cook?
I don't cook it. It cooks for me.
Okay.
Rachel does point out that it's very automatic in there. Everything's done for you.
Does anybody live there apart from you, Drazel?
Can I get that in real life, please?
Do you have cats?
No, Drazel lives there.
Just Drazel, okay.
Not just Drazel.
Okay.
That's one thing. Can you appear at the same time with more than yourself?
Drazel can appear, yes.
I don't think I could be in a room with multiple Drazels.
The party on
I think it's
Wednesday
all-
has been in a room with 5 Drazels.
Do they all look the same?
No, they don't.
Isn't Drazel not supposed to see his other selves?
He avoids it unless circumstances require it.
Fair enough.
It's only required at once. Where he pinched another world's artifact.
Right. So it was the episode of the 5 Drazels.
Does sound like it.
Well, he got it from Francia.
Is that the Hollow World?
No, that is the alternate universe set in World War II medieval-ish France.
Oh. Sounds legit.
And they're Feywild.
Okay.
Faye's gone wild.
You can get away with lots of things if you try. So, it would probably take you about 3 days to track down the skeleton in the desert.
I think I'll run out of topics of conversation with Drazel in that time. Probably in the first morning, I'd say.
Well, turns out he knows lots of things, so...
Okay.
It's okay, just leave it to
Well,
Calcrix if you run
could
out of
probably
subjects.
continue to find out more of yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I've already been told I shouldn't do that.
While I'm riding on Go, Bradshaw will just talk to Calrex about just about dragons. 'Cause I want to know more about Go in some way. So I'll just talk about, where she grew up, all that kind of stuff. Just ask questions about dragons.
Calcrix or Drazel?
Calrex, Bradshaw doesn't tell me anything.
But Drazel tells you lots of things, he doesn't tell you anything useful.
Yeah.
No. So
I was
So
gonna say,
I explained to him I just want to learn how to manage Goat in a nicer way and what I can do to make sure Goat feels happy.
that, so you're asking Drazel that?
I was asking
No.
Calcrix that.
Oh,
I'm
Calcrix.
asking you, yeah.
Because every time he asks Drazel doesn't answer in a way he understands.
Oh, I see.
Bradshaw's a teenager. Bradshaw doesn't listen as well as Drazel says. It's very kind of. I skip over the really intense bits kind of thing. So.
Yeah, and I suppose you need to work out how to get along with your goat that doesn't involve being knocked unconscious.
Calcrix
Oh, and-
advises that you ask Zal. Zal has many animals, and they all kind of get jealous of each other, and yet Zal somehow makes them all happy.
I do explain to you that my goat's a dragon. That's why I asked him. Yeah. So it's kind of got a, I don't know. This magic thing which Bradshaw doesn't believe in. He doesn't believe in magic. Just
Okay,
believe that.
so if you're talking about how do you make a dragon
Happy.
happier, do you
Mhm.
ever give your dragon any gifts?
Well, I don't know what kind of gifts to give a dragon. What
Uh,
Well, you've been giving it apples and headbutts, and it's been appreciative of the apples and headbutts.
That
yeah,
works.
so I explained that. I said, it likes apples and it likes to give me headbutts.
So
I
you're
don't know if
so you're the same dwarves that do not believe that gnomes exist.
no, I'm the same dwarves that don't believe in. My belief in manners is that I believe all magic is from gods, but people can't do it themselves, kind of thing. It's kind of like that kind of thing. So yeah. Plus, also because I'm I'm negative to most magical things because of my resistances, and that's how I've been brought up. That's what I've been told. I'm only a teenager, remember, so I've been told things that might not be true, kind of thing. So.
Well,
Most of
yeah,
his magical learning has been from a barbarian who hates magic.
Yeah, that's right.
well, it's
And
funny.
he was Ethengarian, so no offense to fellow Ethengarians in the scene. So,
Go, Gary.
I was just going to say that I don't, while there is magic, if you're defining magic as being something all from the gods, then a lot of it is.
But I don't. It's more that I just think it doesn't do anything really good. Even though I see it do good things. So it's kind of like a negative on magic. If that makes sense. So, yeah.
Calcrix wants
It
to
definitely
know.
has its downsides.
Because magical things, steel, metal, hit things works better.
Some of us aren't good at hitting things.
I know. It's okay. But so I'll just have a general things of what kind of gifts, dragons like, what kind of things I would like, I'm trying to increase my dragon skill.
And while you're thinking about that, when's the last time you looked at your character sheet online for Bradshaw?
A while.
That's okay, nothing important.
No.
Have you tried cookies?
I know, I've got some, I can see the sheet right now.
They keep Proshka
What are you
happy.
saying, man? What are you saying, man? What I'm looking at?
Yeah, just an all-apple diet is not a bad diet, but
Okay,
Well-
what special things do I look at here?
The first Calcrix will kind of almost sit back while Anton and Bradshaw discuss magic and the usefulness or not usefulness of it. She will point out that dragons believe strongly in etiquette, one of those being the three major things being pay respect to a dragon, give them a gift regularly. Most general dragons like shiny things like gems and gold. If they have a hoard, if it's a dragon that doesn't keep a hoard, then usually they like things that are more useful or have more meaning to them. Like Calcrix doesn't need gifts of value. She likes gifts that require thought, and then she'll take out a set of agate stones that Zal gave her for her birthday a little while back. I think it was her 10th birthday.
Yeah.
And said these had great meaning to Zal, so while they may or may not have great actual worth in coins, they have a sentimental value which Calcrix appreciates, but a lot of dragons don't. So I guess you need to experiment with your goat dragon and find out which ones get a response out of your goat that are more positive.
What I asked the favour, I asked Caltrix, can you talk to my goat and find out what he likes? Or she?
That was going to be the third thing.
Okay.
Dragons appreciate if you learn at least some Draconic.
Are you willing to teach me?
I can teach you some Draconic.
Most of us can teach you Draconic.
Also remember that not all dragons are the same, Bradshaw. Like Proshka likes secrets. He's not particularly interested in shiny things.
I was going to say Anton has Proshka, and has been keeping Proshka pretty happy for all the time I've known
That's
Anton.
because Proshka says it's because I'm amusing.
Yeah.
Proshka pulls out a deck of cards and offers a card to Bradshaw.
Okay, man, really?
Yes. It's Proshka, keeper of the deck.
Proshka also likes cats, but cats don't like Proshka. No, Proshka, you don't have much success with cats.
Is this an elf thing?
No, he just likes
No,
cats.
elf, not elf.
No, doesn't like eating cats, just like playing with them.
Yeah.
I know a certain cat.
Last night.
And as soon as I start thinking, I go, Okay, who's Blockcat?
A gradual consults go to see what card he would like to pick.
So,
Do you say how many you'd like to pick?
so
No, I'm just going to pick one, but I want to see which one Joe wants to pick. I asked Joe to go up to this little dragon person. Is it a little dragon? Is it? Or,
It is a little dragon.
yeah, and just say, what would you like to pick? I asked Joe.
Goat just looks at you with one of those, what are you saying sort of looks.
Would you like, can you pick a card from the deck that little dragon asked to go?
He just looks at you.
okay.
Do you need some help? I can help you with magic. I know you don't like magic, but I can help you.
Draconic, can you speak Draconic or you understand Draconic?
You know that the goat is a drake that can understand Draconic but can't speak it.
Okay, cool. Can you in Draconic? Can you understand Common?
It shakes its head.
Okay. Yes, you need to learn Draconic.
I know, I say.
Yes.
Sorry.
Your headbutting partner wishes to know how many cards you wish to take.
The object of your
Yeah.
headbutting.
Yep. Or object of apple giver.
He looks at you, not quite understanding.
I think cards is probably beyond his understanding as such.
So the drake is of beast-like intelligence,
Okay.
and it only understands Draconic,
Hmm.
but doesn't understand a lot of concepts.
Does understand apples.
Well, it's food.
Yeah.
That was Dwarf Salmon as well, yes.
I think we have come to the conclusion that your goat likes to.
Yes.
So we do have Bradshaw, who has declared one card,
Okay.
That's a pretty set of cards.
and,
This is the reason
and
why-
he has actually activated the deck.
Okay, this is going to be interesting.
This is going to be fun. Oh, look,
50%
energy,
chance
oh.
of good, 50% chance of bad.
Yeah, I know the deck. well. Okay. I'm
You say
leaving
four?
the game kind of a bit of a...
That's an interesting card to pull out.
does look
does it also
interesting.
depending on the facing of it as well?
It does.
So, a new character, new barbarian got a role in the next year.
Okay, so the nice picture that Bradshaw has pulled up is the corpse,
Okay, yeah.
and it is the upright corpse too.
So does that mean we find the skeleton?
I think this is a zombie.
We get zapped straight to the skeleton and then descended on by an army of darkness.
Tattoo, the rope, necktie.
You don't have to give the DM any ideas. He has enough ideas in his head already.
Okay, so Prosky just nods and puts the card away.
Okay.
Okay.
Does Proshka drink green?
Well, hard to tell. He's a drake.
Can
It's quite
Calcric
easy
stealth?
if he exposes more teeth than usual.
He always exposes teeth.
Can
Okay.
Calcric stealth?
Calcris can find that Prosker is very amused
Oh.
because Bradshaw got a divination instead of because he didn't actually intentionally draw from the deck, but he still
Okay.
activated it. So it's had its divination for the day activated.
Okay.
So there is a corpse in some way in Bradshaw's future.
Probably one with a idol in it.
Quite possible.
Maybe you killed the wrong thing
So
one day.
we've been through a desert with a goat with no name.
Oh, the goat's got a name. It's called Goat.
It's called Goat. It's got a name. It hasn't asked me to change its name, but I haven't been able to talk to it either, so it's kind of a... It's 2025 issue.
So you have to have Draconic and Speak with Animals going to be able to talk to it.
Yeah, well, I think I know that's going to be I get off
Calcrix will.
No, it's quite easy. The charlatan's animal ring is a quite common item. We still have got a couple lying around.
I'll at least over time I'll learn their language, but over time.
So Calcrix will turn to Zal and go, well, how did you communicate with me when I was so young? And I didn't understand you.
I'm pretty sure I already knew Draconic at that.
Yeah, you already knew Draconic,
Point.
and plus you weren't of animal level of intelligence.
So, as a newborn, you could freely converse as most species would as adult intellect. Just that you had the mentality of a child.
So Calcrix turns back to Bradshaw and says, we will just all teach you Draconic.
It can't be that hard. You learned it as a baby.
I'm willing to, in between breaks, I'm willing to learn, see the Calcrix and learn Draconics.
Okay, halfling swear words in Draconic.
I was going to say, the Halfling can teach you a lot of swear words. Anton can probably teach you a lot of...
I actually don't speak Draconic.
Oh, don't you?
It sounds like, when you speak Draconic, it sounds like lots of hisses and...
Well, how do you speak? Oh, that's right.
So-
You've got your familiar
Yeah,
link.
well, we have
So
telepathic.
Calcrix turns to Anton and says, you need to come to lessons too.
All right, I'll come to lessons too.
Whether you pay
You're given
attention or
the
not is
idea
completely
that
up to you.
Tone says you don't have a choice.
Prostra understands common, so it's not a problem as well.
Sounds like the school of Zal and Calcrix will be in session for quite a few downtimes.
You can do the
Well, the
technical
amount of
stuff.
dragons we've been popping up, we need to learn Draconic anyway.
Well, there are technically 5 dragons with the party at the moment.
Yeah, but I mean also
That's
out of the party as well.
That's probably more than any other single racial group, I suppose.
Well, it is the most common racial group in the party.
Mm.
Doesn't help that Drazzle comes with 2.
It's true,
Yeah,
it does come with
horse, yeah.
And you come with one.
He comes with 1. Calcrix is 1, and Bradshaw's goat is 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, which came from Drazzle, so another one from Drazzle. Yeah.
And I technically have a platinum servant dragon called Valen.
Oh, I forgot your paladin dragon.
He's just pretty quiet, follows us around, and just waits for me to do something that might hurt myself.
Is it dragon or dragonborn?
He's a dragon, a proper dragon, metallic.
Just
Just he goes around in a dragonborn shape.
What does horse eat?
Everything.
Okay. Most horses like to be stroked. Try to stroke
You can.
horse.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long before he loses his hand?
Horse is quite happy to have someone Drazzle likes patting him.
Okay.
Calcrix pats horse, gives him scratches.
Okay.
Difference is whether or not someone actually gets Drazzle to like them first or not.
Zal gives the best scratches though. He gives like head scratches, and horse just almost falls over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just familiar with a
You
certain
really know Zal.
a certain aspect taking to liking of people who decide to do that and then losing limbs.
You know, this allegation, Zal, that you're a failed ranger, I think that's really unfair. You're probably just an expert with animals.
As long as it's not fish.
Well, fish.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
I mean, you know Zal mostly still predominantly dresses as a ranger.
I know.
Still, as a bit of a homage to that loss, more than anything else now.
As a reminder,
Yeah, as a reminder.
I think what I'm trying to get, I think you're more than a ranger, and to say you're a failed ranger is a really unfair thing to
Does
say.
that mean it'll be taken badly if for the first night for dinner the first thing Calcrix pulls out to cook up is some fish?
No, as long as
it's
it's not
quite
flopping and
well, the one that got them was a dead fish.
I thought it was still flopping around.
He was. He was dead.
It was dead.
A Ripper had its thing in it and was making it flop all over the place.
Yeah.
So when someone came over to kill the live fish, he'd ate them.
Yeah.
Which is technically how Zal became a failed ranger.
Yeah.
She died for the first time.
He.
You've got something in common with Bradshaw. You should have plenty to talk about.
Yeah, but then
Was that
ending up to
insensitive?
give up being a ranger to come
No,
back.
I gave up, and Zal is happy to talk about this. He gave up his pride of being the black sheep of the family, being different and being a non-magic user, basically, and doing his own thing to try and get away with the stigma of
Necromancer.
family being necromancers, and to come to learn later in life that there is actually a difference, and he knows that his parents were actually not bad people. Not that he thought they were, but they got killed as bad people.
By a bad
Or accused
person.
of bad or being accused of being bad people when they weren't. And to sort of get away from all that, he became a ranger, and was quite proud of the fact that he was different to the rest of the people in his family. So when he became a cleric, was sort of a turning point in his life. And yes, he gets stick for it still, but it's
Water off duck's back.
it hits differently now compared to when it first happened.
Well, considering when it first happened, Zal gave up his pride to come back to life.
It's actually
You've grown out of Ranger. You've sort of grown beyond it. It's not a case of failed. It's a movement on.
So when given the opportunity to be able to sort of go back, Zal's actually refused.
And partly because Zal doesn't really have pride in anymore because Zal gave that up.
She's very
Well,
humble.
it would have been interesting, a ranger running around with undead animals as
One of the-
companions would have been interesting.
One of the things I just wanted to point out is that life is reflecting role playing. The cat was showing a lot of interest, so even though I haven't eaten up until this point today, I have now pulled my chicken pide apart, and the cat is now decimating all the chicken in the middle of my pide. And Bradshaw, this is how you make friends with animals. Pull apart something they show interest in, and you give them all the yummy bits that you really want to eat. But
Well, he almost took it off your plate, but he's just sniffed it.
yeah,
And we're having fish for dinner tonight, are we? I presume it's salted
Yeah.
fish or dried fish if we're this far from the sea.
And luckily for you, Kesley's character Lani is not cooking it. She
Yeah.
has learned how to make cooking into a
And-
weapon.
while we're
Okay.
talking about this, while she's cooking the fish, she'll show
it's
you
not
this
like
very
the anime trope
amusing.
where it looks delicious, but it's incredibly poisonous.
He has completely no taste or nutrition whatsoever.
So Calcrix will pull out her journal, and she'll show you a picture, and it's got a cooking pot and Lani cooking at the cooking pot, and then this crowd of people running away.
And then they had Lani trying to play some music.
And so she turns the page, and then there's Lani with a flute, and she's playing happily along. She looks really happy, and then all the people are running away with
I-
terror
so-
on their
so-
faces.
So she.
I cook as well.
Okay, all right. So I'm just saying. So when she throws a party, no one turns up.
Well,
No, they
she's
turn
a
out to get
weapons
drunk.
master. She can turn everything into a weapon.
Including a flute. Okay.
Yep. Managed to turn the noise of the flute into a weapon.
Unfortunately, I don't have useful skills like cooking, so I'll just appreciate other people's cookery.
I believe Yodri is a very skilled cook.
So
So
Yodri's
I
going to do
supply
a
fish.
profession-ish roll with your tools, cooking tools.
And
Yeah.
Yodri can do the cooking. And I will teach Bradshaw
And
and Anton a short lesson in Draconic.
We'll start with greetings, can we?
Fairly sure that we can. Greetings is one of those ones that doesn't necessarily need words. It starts off with the presentation of would you both spread out a few items from your your backpacks or your bags.
That's only a 10. That was a bad roll.
So you produce a rather bland meal out of the fish.
Yeah.
Look, I've learned to be pretty humble about food, and like I appreciate it.
It must be this desert environment is really throwing out your chi.
Yeah, they're all. Here's something that I prepared previously. Some shark jerky.
What kind of items come out of each of your bags as a presentation of possible
I really don't
things?
have much to give. I've got a lot of junk though.
Doesn't have to be a lot.
Well, I opened the black bag, and there's the Bane helm. There's my gilded gargoyle mask. My robe of the sacred stone monastery. A crowbar. My cheesy bag. I haven't been eating much cheese lately. The bean bags. We haven't played beans yet. The tome of the Earth Lord. A set of playing cards. A hand axe. A dagger. 2 blankets. 2 water skins. And the coffee mug you gave me.
Okay, so
Don't you have any rations?
Yeah, I do have some rations. I just didn't write it down.
So the bean game, right?
Bean bag. Yeah.
The bean bag that you haven't done what with?
I haven't done anything with. They're worth 1,000 gold pieces each. It's probably one of the most valuable things.
Calcrick says you need to sit in that bean bag right now.
Did what?
You don't
need
sit.
to sit in the bean bag.
You
right
don't
now.
sit in it. It actually.
It's only this big.
You pull beans out of it, and they have magical effects.
Pull a bean out.
But you can only do so many.
Oh, don't pull a bean out. Okay.
They do amusing things. I've been meaning to try to use
pull
it.
a bean out.
We'll lose it forever. Is there any particular effect you'd like to see, in general terms? And I'll see if I can find something. I can summon up an enemy?
Something surprising.
Oh, okay.
So we've all
you
got
could
something
summon
like
up an
that.
enemy.
Because I've got the bloody.
We could fight the enemy. I haven't had a fight in a few days.
No, do you really
Like,
want? If you really want to fight, I can produce a fight creature.
I need practice. Wait a minute, Cheval's not here. She'll miss out. We'll get in trouble. She's really good at scorching people.
No, Cheval will be a kill stealer.
Look, I know what
While you're
happens.
working that out,
I know what
just
happens here, so I'll do it, and let's see what other people do.
Okay.
Okay, I take out one bean, I plant it in the sand, and I pour water on it, and the hole appears. A swirling hole with a 5-foot hole with swirling multicoloured vapours appears inside. Oh, there's a saving throw involved in this. Oh, okay. Maybe this wasn't the best choice. Who's close to the hole?
I
Pardon?
will be.
Okay.
And someone else said something.
I did.
There you go, Zal and Calcrix.
I suppose I am because I put the bean down. Is anyone else close to the hole?
I was talking to Caltrix, Bradshaw probably, and Go. So,
Okay, so everybody who's close to the hole has to make a wisdom save.
Okay, I did bring dice over here.
I noticed you were smart enough to keep your distance.
Yeah, not when you go, yes, I have a bean. I'm going, oh, this is going to be trouble.
Okay, let's see who fails our saving throw. I made my saving throw.
Wisdom?
It's a wisdom save.
Wisdom save, so I believe I got a 24. So I'm just checking.
17 for Bradshaw.
17's a success.
Oh, okay. that's
24
right.
is probably success too. I'm just looking at making sure it's a 24 and not a.
Sure, it's got a 4. Must be a 4.
Someone rolled a 4, did they?
I'm just throwing them.
No, I got a 15. I'm looking up what my save is because it's either a 7
If a
or
natural
11.
15's a success.
Well, if a natural 15 is a success.
What happens if you crit?
I don't know. That'll be up to Martin.
30 upgrade.
Yeah, well, yeah. It sounds like we all made it. Okay, so there's a hole with swirling multicoloured vapours coming out of it.
The one roll we make tonight, my dice is like, yay, I got used.
Well, I had a +1 to wisdom, by the way, guys. So I give
We all made our saving
Plus
throws and
11.
nobody
So
failed it.
15 plus 11 is
What did you
26.
pull out?
That one there, 91 to 99.
I feel the need to point out earlier that just like her character Ariadna walked out earlier with a coffee and a tea in each hand.
Okay.
I feel I live my character, method act, so that I know my character intimately and what they would do no matter what the circumstance.
Okay, so at the moment we've got a hole with pretty vapours coming out of it.
What am I doing right now? The equivalent of a 4-year-old going, ooh.
Yeah, no, it's well, it is pretty
And
wooey.
Eve is like, ooh.
I wasn't sure, Martin, if anything interesting happens on a upgraded save, but my dice was like, oh my god, you used me! So I got a nat 20 with plus 10, so 30 upgraded on that save.
Okay, with a natural 20, you're looking at it going, that is a hole to somewhere else.
Oh, that's a portal! Yay! Don't go near that. Don't jump in that.
No. Is it one way or two ways?
Probably one way.
Okay, I'm gonna load the crossbow.
After a
No,
minute,
as in one way, our way. So like if you jump in, you probably have no hope of getting back.
Yeah, but these things normally tend to backfire. Something normally wants to get out.
well, after a minute, the hole disappears.
A minute's long enough for something to come through.
Nothing come through except sparkly lights.
Oh, pretty.
That was a great spin of 1,000 gold PB.
You what?
That was worth 1,000 gold pieces, that bean. That's what I paid for it.
And those that entered got a magical device.
And now you know how to entertain a dragon. Congratulations.
Any who entered the hole disappeared for 24 hours and returned for a magical item.
That could have been interesting.
You had to fail your saving throw or just voluntarily jump in.
So in
Still,
return
it's 1,000 gold.
Yes.
In return for
I could do this. Pull out my little bag of tricks and just throw a fluffy little
Except
thing.
the thing is, more than one person can enter the hole. And each person that enters gets a magical item. Each person that enters.
Cool.
So you could have the entire party jump in, avoid someone tracking them because you'll just disappear for 24 hours and they can't track you for that.
So in return for
So you need to buy another one of those.
I haven't got any money. I blew all my money on this.
for this lesson,
Right.
I'm going to teach you some of the most important phrases in Draconic.
Give me money.
So there's useful ones, and then there's compliments in Draconic, or just plain polite phrases. Which one would you like to learn today?
Well, there's two things I need to know. I need to know when somebody's saying something to me in Draconic, what they're saying, and I need to be able to respond politely.
Okay, so do you mean
respectfully?
Welcome, and I'd be eternally grateful?
Yeah, that...
Okay.
Given that there's all this really
let me-
complicated etiquette around
Let me
Draconians...
just explain. We are a very dramatic race. So we don't say things like just thank you or you're welcome. So instead of you're welcome, we say talk not of it. But we would say it in Draconic, which would be thric ukras sumia.
Okay, Thrikulmusumia.
You do not talk of it as if, no. No need.
Are you going to go into the gestures as well?
Well, I was just providing gestures then. So it's like, no need.
Okay, so we'll all try to perform it and do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because Zal is the best Draconic speaker among us. She's been speaking it longer than I have. She gets to be the judge of who does it the best.
Yeah, but that's
All right.
Unfortunately, she only knows the wingless version.
I still feel she's the most qualified for judging this. I have a bias. He's my dad.
Okay.
I'm always trying to impress my dad. like all kids are. So I'm hoping I win brownie points somewhere here.
I can hear Proshka laughing at me.
How well you're teaching them in terms of like explaining, you know, what the meaning behind it in common is, and the meaning in dragon, which is usually quite different. And then the practice. So yeah, that's looking wrong, going. No, like.
Well, yes, that's why this start off with, you know, we always sound really dramatic, but, you know, talk not of it is essentially you're welcome. And then in Draconic, this is what that sounds like, and these are the kind of gestures you might make. Don't wait 1 moment. I'm going to show them how to say I'm sorry. You guys.
Okay.
You guys performed your
We'll do our best.
You're welcome. So just to rephrase you guys, it's Thrick Ukris Su Mir.
Thrick Ukris Su Mir.
No, Mir. That's an exclamation mark.
Thrick Ukris Su Mir.
So Mir.
Su Mir.
Like a exclamation mark on the end of it and gesture. Like my heart couldn't bear it.
Thrick Ukris Su Mir.
I think that's a pretty good. I'm pretty convinced by that.
Okay.
I've
convinced the dragon. I think I'm doing all right. Proshka just thinks this is hilarious.
How does Goat Dragon respond to this?
Proshka thinks it's hilarious. He
has more of a look of curiosity.
Okay. Calcrix turns to the goat in Draconic and says, "How do you feel his performance went? Was it sincerity? Do you give him any marks?"
Sort of looks at you.
Use the ring. Use the ring.
I've got my ring of animal friendship.
Well, if you activate the charge, he does seem to understand you better.
Okay.
Because the mounts are rather simple creatures.
Yeah,
they
I got
understand
3 of them.
Draconic, yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of used to talking their language.
So yes, it thinks 2 legs seems to be speak better now.
This is what 2 legs wants to achieve to improve your quality of life.
Would probably talk better if I'm 4 legs.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell him to do that?
He nods.
Okay. So I turn to Bradshaw and I say, I see what you're doing here. I see you're doing it really well. How would you feel performing this on 4 legs? She's being utterly sincere. Like, straight faced.
Well, my mark was always so check. I would just go along with it, okay? So.
And E, by the way, is rolling on the floor, laughing her leaves off.
It probably was a way of actually.
Keep in mind that Zal's probably also brought up speak with animals, and just to get the hilarity of it as well. But he tries to stay as sturdy faced as possible. So
he's going to make you roll for that, you know it.
Dwarf in full adamantium plate armor, now is on all 4s in front of his mount.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for the head.
And now you're attempting to say, I would not talk not of it. Thrick Ukris Su Mir with an exclamation mark and some flappy hands.
Well, on all 4s. Flappy hands.
The flappy hands being something along the grasping one's heart and saying, my heart would not hear of it.
Okay, so
I do what I get told. Very suspicious, but do what I get told. So.
And it seems that Goat is very happy with that and gives you a celebratory headbutt.
Yeah, we'll go. I knew there was going to be a headbutt.
So he's passed out.
You get a second celebratory headbutt because there was an apple involved.
There you go. So we've had
I
some
just
success.
realised each one of us are going to be teaching them with a different slight dialect because one's going to be a bit Sea Dragon style.
And so
Blue Dragon style.
when Anton practices on Proshka, what's Proshka's response?
I can telepathically communicate with Proshka, so it's sort of like
Proska thinks you have a bad accent and you should stop.
Yeah, okay. Proshka's a harsh critic.
Does. I talked to Proshka a little bit. I'm like, have you ever thought of maybe being a little bit easier on him?
Here, draw a card.
Maybe he needs a little bit of self-confidence before he can perform better.
We get on. Proshka.
He understands him perfectly. He just doesn't like his accent.
Oh, you don't like his accent?
Yes.
Speak to me more about this accent you want to hear.
Well, when Anton speaks in his accent, he sounds like he is a country yokel.
Proshka can't communicate like that.
Do you know?
Telepathically, he can.
He can't have to communicate with me. He can't
There's
communicate
a
with
thing we
anyone
can-
else.
He's doing that through you.
Okay.
This
I'm interpreting.
There's this thing we can do with magic that could change his accent.
So he's making you do all the responses.
Would that work?
Yeah, well, I don't really want to change my accent. I'm sorry.
I feel like we could come out of this being better communicators.
Yeah.
He prefers talking to you.
For all the problems Proshka and I have, we get on quite well.
He prefers your common country yokel instead of your draconic country yokel.
I relay that.
Well,
Remember, Proshka thinks I'm amusing.
Calcrix will go, nothing to see, nothing to fix here, move along.
Yeah.
But would you still like to learn more draconic?
I think I still like to learn
I think
more
it's
draconic.
worthwhile considering how many dragons we encounter.
Yeah.
It's good to know what you're hearing.
Good to know when they tell me something that I need
Unless
to be.
they're doing that stuff they tell me that they're doing when they're like, you should stay downstairs here, Calcrix, because we're going to go talk parent stuff. And then you go up to see what parent stuff conversation is, and it is not conversation at all.
Yeah, I know.
They drink coffee up there by themselves.
Do they?
Well, retro recovers from his concussion for the day.
Okay.
Instead of everyone yelling, are we any closer to the skeleton?
Yeah, okay. Well,
But the coffee,
I
they just
have
hook
a
up the
question for
themselves.
Calcrix before we move on, though.
Yes.
Noting that, like, you know, I know that you like sort of the handmade gifts that I usually give to people anyway, but particularly as dragon, you appreciate that sentiment on a sort of more deeper level. Is it rude to ask a dragon sort of what gift they would like? Like, as you said, like, you know, if a dragon hoards gold or gems, you know, is it rude to ask them, you know, like, I wish to give you a gift that has meaning to you?
It's less the meaning for the person you're giving it to. It's more the meaning of what it means to you that means more to dragons.
Dragons see gifts as a door to knowledge about a person. So if you're giving them a gift that has no meaning, no story attached to it, no knowledge, it doesn't kind of matter how worth it is, it's not worth as much to them. Sure, you offer them a priceless magical crown of the hollow world, say, with all its elemental shards in it. They're not saying no to that thing, but also they're not waiting for it to be presented as a gift. They're taking that shit from you as soon as they can.
So if you find what a dragon wants most in the world, you're not really bargaining with the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I meant more like if it has sentimental value to me, but also the dragon. So say like instead of
Don't show your skull off.
handmade, no.
like those
handmade
against
gift, if it
stones.
was say like one of the gems that has a meaning to me as well that I found through our travels,
Well,
and has
yeah.
a story attached to it.
Well, those agate stones that you gave me, which I did write down the meaning of, you know,
Those are the
they...
stones that you stole from the idol.
I get given a lot of stolen goods. Believe it or not, as a dragon, a good dragon, I'm okay with receiving stolen goods. We found this out on Tuesday. It worked out that I got a better deal than ever by trading up my stolen goods to books. But funnily enough, you gave me 4 agate stones. They had nothing. They weren't carved. They were just well polished. And you just gave them to me for my birthday. They didn't have anything seemingly special attached to them, but it was a gift from you and they meant something to you, and at the time you weren't able to tell me, and now it's been a mystery that Calcrix has needed to solve since her birthday, and so she has spent many entertaining nights where she could have been wrestling in anxiety about how to solve this problem, or the Queen's yet 50,000th request for her to go off somewhere and kill herself, trying to get some emblem or something, or save so-and-so from so-and-so, and, you know, maybe exploding the world and being eaten by dinosaurs. Or she could wonder, what the hell went into this gift, where did it come from? So, you know, she values gifts that do that for her. So it depends on the dragon.
Just in all of that, you were saying about going off and doing these things to the Queen of the Underworld.
Mm.
Are you a bit like Drazzle and have multiple timelines and
Yes.
that? Oh, okay.
Only recently, but yes.
Okay.
I stole my own eggs. Twice.
No, you didn't steal your own eggs. You stole the egg that you were birthed from.
Okay, I stole the egg that myself, and my siblings were birthed from, and I finally found out what 4 of us were, and I have 1 more to work out, and I have clues now.
So you're responsible for giving yourself to the kobolds?
Goblins. And technically, no.
No, I thought the
My
goblins stole it
wise
from
brother-
the kobolds.
My wise brother, and she looks over to Drazzle.
Kobolds were fighting with the goblins. The goblins had the egg.
Yeah, but I meant the kobolds had the egg before the goblins.
No, the goblins had the egg all along.
Oh, okay.
So,
The kobolds wanted it.
Oh, okay.
You
I
know,
thought,
mini deity.
yeah, I thought they might, but they say one's got the egg now the other one's got the egg.
so Calcrix looks over at Drazzle and goes, my wisest brother Drazzle decided that my egg should go with the nasty, tortury, pokey, tormenting, horrible, meanie goblet people, and she holds her arms open because she knows there's got to be a hug in there somewhere.
Drazzle does give you a hug.
And she's like, so that's how I ended up there, and I guess the reward was that I got Zal for a daddy, and Chevelle for a mummy, and Yodri for an uncle.
Okay, don't
And-
squeeze
and-
this carton.
I got, no, it wasn't Imni at the time, it was
Can do.
Camdu for an aunt. So, I think that was everybody. Oh, and Sofa, for like a grandmother.
Who was Emdrak previously?
Yeah, grandfather.
For a little while.
grandmother.
You say you're only,
Relative of
you say you're only
undetermined
12 years
gender.
old, but you've had a lot of lives already, I'd say.
Well, a few of them have been spent in other timelines.
Plus, you've already done things in other timelines you haven't got around to yet.
I feel like there is two phrases you should start learning. And one of them is, please take my small gift, so that they know you are giving them a gift, which is pronounced Jais, Plax, Kozjik, Maljix. I have terrible pronunciation, by the way, so you may have to roll to see if I pronunciate this correctly to you.
Roll with I understand what you just said.
Yes, that I pronounced.
Oh my
it
god, I
anywhere
rolled
near.
really well. I presume it's intelligence.
I also have to add that I'm tired and my meds are starting to make me slur a bit.
Yeah. I think I did understand it, but I have a hard time reproducing it, probably.
Yep. As long as you think you can reproduce it to yourself. She'll also write it down phonetically for you. And the other one is...
Do you need to actually speak properly in Draconic? You need to actually
better you
modify your vocal components, like your tongue. Split
the
your
better
tongue.
you speak it, the better you're going to go.
Okay.
And so
I'll
the
do my
last
best.
one is legend pales before your brilliance.
Oh,
I
that's
Just
like
lovely.
that. I like
What
that.
you need to use whenever you think the dragon might kill you. It's a good way to stop them. And for that we've got Shard's Hacks.
Shards, hacks.
SJAHAX.
Shard, shucks.
Shaz.
Shards,
Hacks.
shucks.
I don't know. Linnea, Gordos, Waxa, Arthur Kenta. The rest was relatively easy after that.
No, I sort of lost that one.
Anyway, she's going to write that one down for you to practice.
Okay.
And you can go from there. And the finest gift you can give any dragon is scroll work of the name they've given you. It won't be their real name. Don't ask for a dragon's real name.
Yeah, I know that much.
And you do a nice scroll of it and you give it to them as a gift.
Okay.
In draconic scroll, not common scroll.
Just for all the dragons here, speaking of Drazzle and Calcrix, not meaning to offend all the dragons that are here, but I kind of think that the dragons are going to be the biggest problems. Are probably not the kind of dragons who are going to be easily persuaded by a few words. They're probably... What I'm saying is that you Drazzle and you Calcrix are not representative of the dragons who might be hostile.
I feel like, and Martin will speak for Drazzle, but I feel like Drazzle would say exactly what Calcrix would say and probably what Proshka would say, which is you would be surprised about how pleasant words at the start of any relationship with a dragon, accompanied by a meaningful gift, will change your relationship with them entirely.
Okay, I admit to some skepticism because I think some dragons just aren't nice.
No, they're not nice, but they'll still respond favourably to those. Does Drazzle and Proshka respond in any way?
Drazzle would say if you use dragon etiquette and the dragon notices, then it will respond kinder than one in which you haven't initiated the etiquette.
So it will help.
No, but you might live for 10 minutes longer and develop a better plan.
That's what I mean by help. Okay.
The dragon will generally not attack if it sees you performing the etiquette until it finds offence at it.
Even the evil ones that are out there.
Yes.
Okay.
If you do not provide any dragon etiquette, they are under no obligation to treat you with any respect.
And I have to say, these 10 rules they've got down here for dragon etiquette in this non-standard book, a few of them work in real life, and I heard from my supervisor when I was a very young person in the real world. The one that stands out most was he taught me always to say please and thank you. They'll lose you nothing and can gain you anything in the world. And I've always followed that rule, and ever since I've worked for him and left him, it's always done me in good stead. So some real life advice there too. Alright.
Can we go looking for a skeleton?
Yes.
Okay.
I hope we find a standard 10.
So at the end of the day, a few days travel into the desert, 3 days into the desert, you do come across, it did take you most of the third day to circle around until you finally found the dead body with some digging.
Yep.
Okay.
Because it is a desert.
It is a desert, and it was under some sand. So we find a body, do we?
You find a body with I'd probably say a idol about the size of Proshka, made out of a single red gemstone.
Okay.
In the shape of a small griffin.
Okay. Detect magic?
It radiates magic.
What sort of magic?
It radiates enchantment.
Okay.
and it is an artifact.
Okay. Someone has Legend Law, don't they?
Someone does. Someone is rifling in her bag of holding right now. And then she pulls out...
Might actually, this might be a good time for augury.
you have augury?
I don't have augury.
Okay,
I don't have useful spells.
So
Come
if
on.
someone's willing to assist me with props, behind you is a dragon on a treasure chest. Above on the top shelf near the camera.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
That's almost a good Proshka size.
she rumbles around in her backpack, and then pulls this out and puts it on the table. And Capric says, Legend Lore costs 250 gold coin, and I've cast it for Tuesday and Monday groups 4 times
Okay.
now, without anyone assisting in the financial investment required to do this spell.
Before we do that, if somebody got augury, you can just ask about whether it's safe to pick the thing up.
I think I have clairvoyance. I don't know if that's anywhere.
That's
near
different.
That's why you hire goblins and kobolds and that to do your dirty work. Yeah, pick that up.
Gives you a somewhat dirty look at the mention of using kobolds in such a manner.
Kobolds
They are a dragon race, regardless of how people feel about them.
Yeah, but kobolds would be a little bit more intelligent.
And
than
she's got
goblins.
a brother who's a kobold.
Yep.
If we don't have augury, it's an academic question. Probably the only one who might have it is Zal.
Yeah,
Or
it might be
Drazel.
so.
Yeah,
I have identify.
you probably got the better of that. I've got an aunt who's a sea hag.
Clairvoyance, different one. Different water. So I'm trying to pull around. True seeing.
Well, I've got a little bit of money. I'm happy to contribute to both a legend lore and an augury.
Look, I'm not
It's
expecting
not the
you to.
money,
Well-
it's actually the components.
got
Augury
components.
doesn't expend the components.
Oh, it doesn't expend it. Oh,
It
okay.
does not.
Okay, you're right. To divinatory items, it's no
But doesn't it need a specific...
course of action. Yeah. Well, I think the course of action is we pick it up and cast legend lore on it and handle it. You know, real or
Legend law doesn't require you to touch it.
doesn't it? Oh, okay. It was just this worry
the
about handling it
components
might
are-
get cursed.
250 gold of incense consumed by the spell, and 4 blank exquisitely bound books worth at least 50 gold each.
So that
So-
means 450 gold worth of expenditure.
So Calcrix is invested in a bag of books, a bag of holding with a bag
Yeah,
of
the
books.
incense is consumed, but the books aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the books can't be reused.
No,
Oh.
so
Oh, okay.
she
They,
has
they contain
a,
the knowledge of the legend law.
she has a set of 4 tomes
So
about
450.
So basically they become blank again and you have to write something in there again.
No, they don't
No,
become blank
no, no.
again. The books
So-
it's a instantaneous spell, meaning the effects of the spell are permanent.
So I can pull out one of my 4 tomes on Fenrir, and you can read up whatever I did on
Okay,
Legend
look,
of
if it's-
Fenrir.
I'm happy to contribute a fifth of 450, which is 90 gold pieces.
Yeah. All she's saying is I've done this 4 times recently.
Although admittedly I don't have much money, so I can only do that a couple of times before
yeah,
I
look,
broke
she's
again.
not asking you to do it every time, but she's like, come on. I've done this several times. It'd be nice if people contributed to the fund.
Okay.
So if we do... Zal, you happy to cast augury as the first step?
Does Zal have
I
theory?
do not think I have augury.
Oh, okay.
As Drazel is a time cleric, augury is part of his repertoire.
So
And you're happy to
Drazel-
cast augury?
He does, and he does
no,
get.
Drazel pulls out a cup of coins.
Okay.
The other thing is Drazel could cheat.
I know.
He doesn't have to cast it because he
I
already
know,
knows
I
what
know,
it is.
I know, but so far I've found that you can trust Drazel even though we can never know what he's really doing.
And he says that the outcome is ambivalence, meaning both good and bad results
Okay.
will occur. From
So that achieved absolutely nothing.
no, it's better than no omen, meaning that
True,
the
okay.
results aren't especially good or bad.
But our state of knowledge beforehand was we didn't know, and our state of knowledge afterward is that it could be either.
I know it's not. It's not. It could be either. It will be both.
It will be both.
It
So
will be
you'll
both.
be cursed, but it will be beneficial. So it's basically like the items that we've got at the moment.
So, do we want to cast Legend Lore?
I'm happy to do it. I pull out 4 books from my bag of holding.
It would be amusing because the cards Proshka have would be the perfect augury deck.
I pull out
Okay,
incense. First person to name a scent is the scent of the incense.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon. I pull out cinnamon incense. Light that shit up.
Okay, we all enjoy the aroma of cinnamon.
Do we? Do we all?
Well, look, it's been a long time since I've eaten spicy food.
Okay, just checking.
You know,
Could
that's
be
one thing I've
Zalman.
learned about up the people up north. The food is much
Someone
blander.
Bradshaw could go cinnamon. I have a feud with cinnamon.
Do you, Bradshaw?
Well, he's currently on mute, so we do not know.
Okay.
That's because he's fuming.
Okay.
Yeah, he could be fuming against cinnamon.
Maybe he's-
Bradshaw's currently unconscious a little bit. Lurton gets his go. So he's taken no notice of the conversation yet. So.
Cinnamon goes well with
It's just when
apple.
it got exciting. We're actually looking for this object.
Days have passed since you got knocked unconscious, unless you were unconscious for days.
No, he's been unconscious a lot of the times because he's trying to learn Draconic, and he's getting
Yes,
on all
On all
fours. And
fours. Yeah, I'm doing that for the next couple of days, Martin. Okay, so yeah.
Okay.
So I'm feeling a bit. Yeah, whatever. Do what
Yeah,
you have to
so-
do. I just
I'm
say,
getting worried about you, Bradshaw.
So-
This can't be good being knocked unconscious
so
all the
goats
time.
enjoying this.
Well, dwarves got hard heads, I say. That's all I say. Yeah.
Well, I have no knowledge of medicine or healing magic, so I'll just take that on face value.
I'd still like to know how he managed to seduce the Queen of Blades.
Maybe was seduced by.
It was a mutual agreement. I'm in love with redhead. She was a redhead, and she was intrigued by why a dwarf would love her.
Okay.
And then we had a date in a pub where she moved all patrons in the pub.
She murdered everyone in the pub and left the bodies
right.
there during the date.
And all we did, we had a nice meal together and drink.
So you had a bar brawl.
Well, he wasn't there
No,
for
no,
the
no,
bar.
Oh,
no. She did that for me. That's what I thought was true.
She
love.
wanted a quiet night at the pub, so she killed everyone.
Yeah. See, she's lovely. She thinks about me. Yeah.
So, Emmy, one night I'm going to invite you out for a girls' night. And because we want a quiet night, you've been a parent the whole time, I suggest we murder everyone in the nightclub, put on our own damn Japanese metal music, and then order drinks from behind the bar, or pour our own drinks from behind the bar and enjoy ourselves.
yeah, I just really.
I approve this plan.
I think we'll be arrested
You know what
and
this-
put in jail for the next 50 years,
But you'll have an interesting night to
we'll
talk
have
about.
had a nice quiet night together.
So it actually looks like it's quite scary that they're basically all the bloodthirsty ones who happen to be the female counterparts.
I'm
Because
a
all
dragon.
my family, all my bloodthirsty ones are actually my mothers, my sisters, my aunts, and that.
And just for well noted, Zal is a male. He's a he. And I am often referred to as she.
Yeah, but you're the instigator.
I'm raw.
You're just dragging Zal in for just to make yourself feel better.
I claim nothing for being a bad influence. I am just a dragon, and therefore a being with naturally better taste than what most people do.
You're a 12-year-old dragon.
No taste whatsoever.
Well, actually, I think while you may be only 12 years in chronological terms, you've lived more life than that.
Yes, we found that out eventually.
Yeah, and you've developed an addiction to coffee.
Developed.
Yeah,
I was born with that.
Lived Well, she's had more experiences than a 12-year-old dragon probably should have, but you know, I really can't comment on that one. So.
That's your father's fault.
Oh, she's taking after Drazzle, who's had more experiences than his 14 years of life.
14?
I can't
You're only
believe you got
14.
older
He's
than me
14.
before.
Even I'm older than that, Brazel.
I'm going to try and have to figure out how to get older than him for once. I'm beating him being older by like 3 seconds.
I think compared to the rest of the party, you're all children to Zal, because Zal is the oldest in the party.
Oldest
That's why
in
you're
age
the
brackets.
Dad.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, oldest in age brackets, not
This. Sorry.
Sorry, I was trying to think of the
Categories.
word and it didn't work.
Chronological terms. You're oldest in chronological terms.
I
And wisest?
don't think so. You didn't get an aging curse stuck on you.
So,
Well,
while
I don't think. Are you middle aged?
Well, I am now.
Yeah. Well, then in case you're equal to Zal.
while we're
Because
arguing,
I aged like 20 odd years.
20 odd years might not put you in middle age unless you're in your 80s.
one of the things.
So,
I was in my, was it 50 when I started, which was
In which case, then you're definitely in your middle years, middle aged.
First of all, Zal, you are the dad of the group, and you need to fulfill your role of the required quota of dad jokes. Bradshaw is currently outdoing you. You need to do better.
And I believe Yodri is the old uncle of the group.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but that's due to being magically cursed.
I mean, technically, I was magically cursed, age-wise as well. So you know, we have that in common at least.
What, by
Secondly-
man gnomes?
No, by my own mother, but that's another story.
Second point.
Has any of us got a family that doesn't want to either kill us or do something really dangerous?
I don't know. Oh, one wants to turn me into an avatar. The other one wants to turn me into an avatar.
Bradshaw's family doesn't want to, as far as he knows, but then again, he never really listened to what his mum wanted him to do.
my family does. My
What?
family's
What?
the same.
That sounds like the other dwarf who...
Oh. What?
who ended up destroying the forge.
That's it. Legend War. What did we learn?
Okay, and Legend Lore will have to be told to you next session.
We spend so
we
much.
said that it could end in combat this week, and it's going to end on Legend Lore?
It is.
Look, we had combat. Bradshaw versus the goat.
No, it means that no initiative was rolled.
The
No.
goat
No.
won every time.
I got a 2, the goat got a 17. Okay, goat won. Okay.
I feel we've been let down here. I didn't get a show.
Yeah, there was that show. It was in the sky. That was provided by Zal.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, there was a show.
We found
More R-rated than intended, but it was there.
we found the idol after a lot of stuffing around, and we don't know very much about it.
Can we say that even though you won't give us the information that for all intents and purposes, Caracrix is scribbling out and will have finished scribbling out Legend Lore by the start of next session next year?
Hopefully, yes.
Okay.
Depends on how much time I get to think about it.
Well, I don't know. If you say it like that and then you ask people to play board games with you, they might all say no because they want you to write the Legend Lore stuff. And then I'll be penalised because then I won't have anyone who wants to play board games.
Look, you do-
Is the
don't run.
legend lore in riddles and that?
It can be in poems, can be in many things.
Yeah. So he needs to get time to write up the riddle or the.
Just before we leave it, why were we searching for all these artifacts for in the first place?
So
To keep them out of the
Master's hands.
master's hands and general population, because most of the artifacts are not Nice.
Okay.
So-
So how are we going to keep them out of?
We give them to Drazzle.
I believe
Oh.
these are the Elvish artifacts.
No.
These are Yalaran artifacts.
Nithian artifacts.
Nithian artifacts.
Are we supposed to give Redrin? We're supposed to give them to Redrin, or
Yes.
okay? So when we take them back to Redrin's I can't remember what they call it, the thing, and we turn them over to Redrin, who's
Base of operation.
Things that might happen are some like in Tuesday's game, they're going to be taking it to the Dwarven airship. It will put the Dwarven airship, Gnomish airship, back into the air and out of Alphasian hands, which will allow the gnomes to get out of Alphasian power, which means that Alphasia won't be able to blast us with the same soul technology that the Master is using.
In this case, you can use it to give to the leader of Yalarum to keep it out of the hands of the population and gain support of the Sultan who runs Yalarum
okay.
by not stealing artifacts from his place, which is what all the expeditions are about, is making sure the artifacts are found and secured.
Okay, so Yalarum claims these as its own.
Well, they are ancestrally Yalarum items,
Okay.
even though they belong to the civilization that existed before them.
And I can sort of, and that makes some sense. And if we actually know with legend or what these things actually do or what risks they might pose, we could assess all of that.
And
Okay.
by assisting in their recovery, you stop them from getting loose and harming the world.
Okay.
So think of it, if you ever watched Warehouse 13, more like that.
And it's also a case of we build up diplomatic relations with Yalarum,
Nice.
which means that when Darrican has to go back toward the Master and we need some kind of help, then if they've got anything that they can offer us, they'd be more willing to do that and we've got more chance.
Are they still doing the wish challenge thing again?
The wish is always happening because their patron god captured all the Jinn of the desert and bound each of them.
Into a Dragon Ball.
More than the number of Dragon Balls.
What's his wish challenge?
The people are always looking for wherever their patron Al-Qadim hid all the Jinn to keep them out of the population and causing mischief.
So these are like wish stones?
No, they are spirits. The actual genies. And he's bound them to various items.
Okay, alright.
Mainly lamps.
Okay.
So the old rubber lamp and get a genie thing happens here.
Well,
fairly
that's what I
frequently.
mean.
So the other thing is, if you found one, where do you dispose of it?
Well, they're not asking for them to be disposed.
No. But the thing is, how do you get rid of it? Because you don't want to use it because they always end up in bad luck.
The Sultan would want them also brought and secured.
Make
Okay,
a
cool.
selfless wish, I don't know.
No, you can't. The wish is always going to be corrupted somehow. There is no such thing as a perfect wish.
The reason they were all bound
I
is
thought it was decided at some point that there was, and it was something utterly selfless.
that is the Christian mythology,
Oh, okay.
not fantasy mythology.
Okay, so in fantasy mythology there is nothing that you can wish for that would get
You
rid
have
of
25 words or less to do it in, and the
this. I set
creature
you free
has,
with no obligation.
and the jinn here are not good. So
Oh,
if
okay.
you set it free, it's free to kill you.
I set you free with the obligation you cannot harm others ever.
It's all right. It doesn't harm any others. How many people do you know that are called others?
And it can freely harm you.
Yeah, I guess if you get really long.
And because it's only 25 words or less, you don't get a chance to actually do a non-corruptible wish.
Yeah.
I
So
wish you as a gem
so-
out of existence.
Gnomes will have a nightmare because they can't put in their legalese into it.
I wish there were no wishes.
The reason it was put for 25 words or less, it stops a lot of arguments.
Yes. As you can see in Section C, Part A, 3.2.
We did have one player who had a 10,000 word legal agreement for their wishes.
So
Yeah, but that it's the only first 25
That's what I told them.
we have finished the game at what point then?
So we can have the game finished with the legend lore being created.
So where are we? We're in the middle of the desert looking for this artifact.
We've
had
got the artifact.
we had described you finding the
So we
artifact,
found the artifact.
and you cast legend lore before you did anything.
Right, okay.
Because you wanted to make sure that however you touched it, you didn't actually activate it.
Had we returned to the village thing where we were, or are we still in the middle of nowhere?
You're looking down at the idol. You haven't touched
Okay.
it because you're casting legend lore to make sure you didn't activate it when you touched it.
So we're in the middle of nowhere. Yep. Repeating it to me doesn't necessarily help.
Okay.
Generally, if I've asked the question again and the first answer did not help, it means my brain has
Okay.
not twigged what that means, and
So,
you might
so
not
we'll
find
start the
say.
next session with.
So was this person anybody important?
Well, there were somebody, but no idea if they were
They're a
important.
Theatin, that's about all we know.
No, I mean, are we going to give them last rites, whatever?
From most of your party's perspective, yes. From Anhos's perspective, no.
He came out and died here all by himself. Well, no sympathy.
It is a foe of Anton's people.
Oh, you can do it if you want.
It would be sort of like if you came across a dead dwarf. From a
Yeah.
halfling's perspective, you wouldn't give them last rites.
Yeah, but I've been on the time where they end up coming back.
So we obliterate them if they do.
Does that mean if I hadn't spent so much time bargaining for those robes, we would have gotten into combat?
Possibly.
I don't know. I seem to ruin everyone's fun. I'll try to do that less next year.
Not necessarily. They probably still had fun anyway. Don't tell people what their choices are.
We found the Carnelian idol. It took us a long time to get there. We don't know anything about it apart from that it's there.
Okay, so I'm going to go to end credits.